everybody. This is the Stronghold podcast. I'm here with Maher, Aseeri, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt.
All right.
The man saving people's hearing all across Singapore, hopefully.
Hopefully.
What's up, my brother?
Nothing much. You know, just trying not to go insane.
You know, last time I talked to you, we were both brown belts.
We were both brown belts about like a month or so away from getting promoted.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that was nice. That was a nice experience. Those were nice days.
Yeah.
Those were good days. I remember them fondly.
I feel like I'm worse now, for sure, than I was then.
Oh my God, you're right.
I have to be.
You're right.
This is the longest stretch I've gone.
We're both horrible.
Yeah.
We're both
our
like
brown
purple
belt
belts
versions
now.
of ourselves would fuck our black belt versions up.
You know what? Like, I want to say that I've managed to like retain most of my skills, but I don't know because
not training. How?
Yeah.
Mental drilling.
You know, I've been training, man. I've been training. Oh shit, am I supposed to say that?
Well, people, it was. I went to a friend's house and we did some like rolling like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But they can't really tell you can't go to a friend's house and train. Like you
Yeah.
can go and pick someone up on Tinder and have an orgy, and it's not illegal. But you can't.
You're
I'm not
allowed
saying
to
I have.
You're allowed to have orgies
I mean,
in
if you know
Singapore.
somebody.
I didn't know that.
Is Charmaine back there? I think she's back there.
No, she's not. She's totally.
Wink. You know somebody. Wink. But like, you know, you're still allowed to hook up. You're still allowed to. They can't tell you can't roll at somebody's house.
You're totally allowed to roll somebody's house. You just gotta be careful, right?
Yeah.
You know, like in my little circle, right? In my little fight club, which I'm not supposed to talk about, but obviously I am.
It's the first rule, dude.
It's the first rule.
It's the first rule.
It's my fight club. It's my fight club. I'm allowed to make the fight club. All right.
But
it was
you broke
totally
rule
my
number
idea.
one. You don't talk about it.
I think. Well, fine. All right. I'm breaking my first rule. I'm allowed to.
So you've still been able to get a little bit of something.
A little bit, but only like super recently, right? Like obviously I didn't do it during the circuit breaker because I don't want to go to jail, right?
Yeah.
Like, also, like I don't want to be that guy, right? Like, what if it really was like super dangerous during the circuit breaker, right?
You were
and then there was
for
like
a cluster.
Right? I don't want to be that guy, right? But it's different in phase 2. Where are we?
Phase 2.
Phase 2? Okay, cool. It's different.
Unfortunately, phase 2.
Unfortunately, phase 2. You know, but you know what? Jiu-Jitsu will come back alive. It's just on life support right now.
Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu will come back, but I don't know what about some of these gyms.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're gonna make it, dude. Like,
Nor do I.
You're allowed to have 5 people in a class, and you can kind of get around it because if you have a large enough space, then if you have multiple instructors, you can do like some gyms are doing 10, but then like the classes are not allowed to overlap at all.
Yeah.
So you can have like 5 over here with one instructor, 5 over here with one instructor. They need to have the meters, whatever the rules are, apart from each other, and then they're not allowed to like.
So you get more than 5 people, right?
Well, like if you have more than one instructor, and they have to be 2 separate classes, but they can go on in the same space as long as you can keep the distance requirements.
Wow. Okay, so you need 2 different instructors.
Yeah, 2 different classes.
Happening at the same time.
Yeah.
With enough space between.
And they can't interact at all with each other.
Oh, that is going to be kind of tough, right?
Yeah,
Which is
it's
weird
a little
because
fishy.
on the way in they're going to be interacting with each other. So it's a little bit odd, but okay, whatever. That's besides the point. That's a sports
even
council
for our
thing.
schedule, we had to reduce the class. So each class is 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's a 15-minute window in between, so the people leaving the previous class and the people entering the next class aren't sort of crossing paths.
You spray everything down, all that stuff. Yeah. You know.
But it's going to be tough for some of these gyms, man, because there's no way. I mean, I talk about it every week on the podcast, but it's just the world times we live in, right?
Yeah.
And it's like 5 people per class, especially if you're only a BJJ gym.
Yeah.
You're only allowed to solo drill. You're not allowed to actually roll with each other. How long are people going to be willing to pay their memberships to do that? Because now, I was telling you when you came in that now the government, the government help, they cover rent through. I think
subsidies, right?
Yeah, from March until July, I think. And then now August, rent is due again.
Was that 4 months, right?
4 months, 4 months they covered. Which is nice. I mean, because how many gyms in America are just trash right now?
Man.
Because they didn't pay for shit, dude.
There was this one guy that basically opened up his gym during the lockdown. I forget his name, Tanner, something like that.
In the U.S.?
Yeah. Goddamn, Tanner Rice. Tanner Rice's gym.
Name.
Him and his brothers, right? Like, he opened up his gym during the lockdown in the state and, illegally, right? And basically...
Oh, he opened it? So this guy opened up his gym during the...
Tanner Rice and his brothers, they opened up the gym during the lockdown.
Like what
I forget which one, right? Texas? I don't know. No, wait. I think it was West Coast. Something like that. But his whole thing, he obviously got a lot of shit for it, right? But his whole thing was, I literally can't survive because... my rent's not getting covered.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do?
Literally closed down, right?
I mean, the housing crisis is looming in the U.S. big
Yeah,
time in a
yeah,
couple months.
Yeah.
But even you ever hear the guy Jeremy Errol, Great Grappling? Do you know the YouTube channel?
Jeremy
Errol, Arel.
sounds really familiar, but
He's a
I'm not
Gordo
sure.
black belt. I'm sure you've seen some of his YouTube. He's
Sure.
got like a big YouTube channel. It's
Sure.
like 40,000 subscribers or some shit, just teaching jiu-jitsu techniques.
Right.
But actually, I emailed him. He kind of got famous on the forums back in the day when people were on forums all the time. Did you ever use the Sherdog forums?
Of course, I use the shirt out for
Right.
ribs.
So I don't know if you remember this, but he created the
Oh my-
blog where he went to Brazil. He's an American guy, went to Brazil, vlogged the whole thing, got his black belt, came back, opened up a gym in North Carolina.
He was that guy.
He was Gerbil Jiu-Jitsu or Gerbil.
That sounds really familiar.
You probably
I
have
never
some
read it.
inkling of
Yeah, but I know about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and this guy, I mean, he's had a gym for ages. I emailed him before I moved to Singapore
Yeah.
about coming here because he's a Gordo black belt, and then because that was Evolve was Gordo Gorginho,
Sure.
and that was the kind of connection. I asked him about
Yeah.
training here, and then he
Yeah.
told me about Evolve and how good the scene was in Singapore.
Yeah.
And then I just saw that he had to close down his gym, and
Oh,
he's been
fuck.
running it successfully for years and years and years.
But all it takes is
there's
something like this.
zero government assistance for any of it. So even for the 4 months here, you got to be pretty grateful because
Yep.
the Singapore government has done a lot to support
Absolutely.
as much as they can. It's still kind of shitty because, now we got to go back to paying full rent while we're limited to 5 people, which for us is like
You can only
15,
free
20%
stuff.
capacity
Yeah, you can only subsidize for so long, I guess,
Yeah.
right? Or
without collapsing the economy.
something, so
Yeah.
collapsing something, But I don't know. Like I know my salary is covered for like a few months.
Nice.
I don't know the exact number. I totally should because I'm part of a really small startup.
I mean, meh.
And they've told
It's
me.
not a big deal.
Sorry, Stuart. I'm sorry. Sorry, Stuart. Yeah, but yeah, like my salary is covered for like all Singaporean people and shit like that. So it's nice. It's nice to have that, but at the same time, it's reality. that you
Yeah.
live in, right?
This year is a weird one, hey? I mean, who
It's
would
fucking
have thunk
surreal.
it? Now wearing masks
It's
is the stamp.
surreal.
It's surreal, right?
If you
Remember our
think
last
about,
podcast? We were talking about PMDs and shit. You remember? Like, the
What
government
was that?
banned
Was
the
that
PMDs.
October or
yeah, October sounds
something like
right.
that? Yeah,
because you got
November?
promoted in December and I got promoted in January.
Sure, there we go. It must have been like November.
Something
I
like
think,
that.
Something like that. Like I was thinking about this the other day, like where my head was at in January when like COVID-19 was like a thing like in China, right? And where I'm at right now, like you wouldn't have thought, like things changed like that,
Yeah.
right? Like I was making travel plans.
Yeah, I mean,
in
those are
January.
gone.
Yeah, totally gone.
It's a total normal thing to have a mask on your face all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel weird about shaking people's hands. Now you got to give them the weird, awkward elbow bump. And
I
then
like the elbow
They're like
bump,
that,
man.
and then you're like that, and then it's a fist bump, and then you're like, "What are we doing here?"
Fist bump's a little risky, but it's cool, right? It's kind of
Fist
cool,
bump's
right?
You fist bump
Limited
if you're
contact.
dangerous.
Limited contact, though. It's just it's a bump. It's
Why
not
is a
shake.
knuckle any better than an elbow? Or why is an elbow better than a knuckle?
Well, it's
Does it
limited.
really eliminate the contact any?
I wanna say
that's
it's
a
limited
closer
contact.
range strike. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, but
you gotta
are you
get
gonna-
closer to something. That's spit range. If you elbow somebody, I can extend that out.
If you sneeze, are you gonna sneeze like that?
No, you do the Dracula shit.
Dracula shit, right? So you're doing that on your elbow,
Yeah, so you want to
kind
put
of.
that
And
near
then there's a
people.
mist down there of like COVID-19
I don't
shit
know,
on
man.
you.
This is some bro
Right?
science about this elbow.
It's
I
totally
tell
bro
you.
science. we're like bodybuilders in the 90s.
Exactly. Anytime
You gotta-
get my hair,
you gotta
get on
rest
the
your legs,
podcast,
bro.
The bro talk comes out hard. We're experts.
We're totally experts, bro. I know everything. I got COVID-19 already. I totally know about it.
Well, we had to go get a test, right? Because as soon as the gym opened back up,
Holy shit, really?
Charmaine and I dude, they fucking stick that thing. It's about that long.
Really?
They have you go. Well, Charmaine and I got sick, right? We were stuck inside for 4 months.
Okay.
We couldn't go around anybody, and then
Sure.
the gym opens back up. All I did was sit inside and get fat and
Okay.
drink because I can't do anything else.
So of course
all
when
day.
you left,
And then so as soon as I come back in, of course
Yeah.
we get sick. The kids are running around here, so you're basically able to
Yeah.
be infected again by all of the coming and going. Of
oh, that's
people.
right. You can get sick from other stuff other than COVID-19.
Yes, which
Forgot about that.
people
All right.
forget about.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
And then also, we started training hard again.
Yeah.
So physical activity coming back hard after months of inactivity. I mean, we were doing a little bit, but it's not the same as like
Your
training.
immune system's all fucked up.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then you're being exposed to all kinds of people again. So we got sick, and then as soon as Charmaine and I are basically the only
Yeah.
instructors. So if
Yeah.
we get sick, we got to close. They stop me at the temperature check, right?
Oh, that happened to you?
Yeah, and I was like,
You're literally-
I had a client that was here ready for a private lesson, and I was like, I feel fine. They're like, you have a temperature, we can't let you in. And I'm like, there's a guy in there waiting for me right now. Like, I'm supposed to work. I mean, I get it, right? I didn't argue with them or anything,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like, okay, I'll just cancel all of my business last second, have no one else to
Yeah.
fill in, and then all of the parents are freaking out because I have a temperature and they wouldn't let me in. And then like all of my business partners were like, you gotta go get the test, just so everybody and I'm just like, it was so overblown. I'm like, guys, I just have like a little fever, it's fine.
But
So I had to go and get that 6-foot-long thing shoved up into my brain.
okay,
They had
but
me
it's
like that.
5 days. It's like a week to get the results. So you were
No,
on
it
your
was,
ass.
It was like it was 1 to 3 days.
1 to 3 days.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it says you get a thing.
Yeah.
After you take the test, that
Yeah.
says you are not allowed to leave the house until you get your results back. It's illegal for you to leave the house.
It's probably a good idea.
It's a good idea, but then I have to cancel more work. I'm just like, damn, dude. Like 1 week after opening back up, we've been closed for months, and then like a week we're open.
Like, you gotta get those immuno boosters or something, man. You know, like
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Turns
you know?
out sitting in your house in total isolation, drinking and getting fat is not good for your
You
immune system.
don't work out. You didn't do any of those home workouts. You can get a chair and shit, and like
Dude,
start like
I was so over
get
it.
MMA dummy.
I was so over people's like social media posting like, look how much we're doing during quarantine. I got depressed and I was that guy.
I
I went the other direction.
I was like jealous of all those motherfuckers that live with like people that do jujitsu. You know, like yeah, like a couple of guys like Daryl Cha and shit like that.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's got a brother that does jujitsu.
Mats in their house and stuff.
Mats in their house, little mats, but still, you know, they can drill and all that. Oh, I had mats in my house, but my brother doesn't do jujitsu.
What did you do during the circuit breaker?
I was
Nothing.
I was lifting.
Oh,
I
lifting, bro.
I was
Get jacked.
so you know I went to Decathlon, right? You know Decathlon's got those diving bags,
Oh,
right?
yeah?
So I bought some diving bags like this. What is it, 60 liter or something like that? 60 liter diving bags. Took those, bought 90 kilos worth of salt from Fair Price, which you're totally allowed to do, by the
90
way.
kilos worth of
90.
salt.
90. You're allowed to buy 90 kilos worth of salt delivered to my
Jesus
doorstep
Christ.
in multiple batches, obviously, and you just kind of rip
How
that
much?
up in the
Give me a
bathtub.
visual on how much salt that is.
That's a bag of salt. That's like a punching bag full of salt. It's like it weighs 60 kilos, man.
Couldn't you have just got a kettlebell or something? I mean, you
I mean, I
went-
could
you
have gotten a
went
kettlebell,
really-
but it's not fun, man. Like
No,
it's
let
not
me
the
get
same
this giant
thing.
bag. Let me order a boxing bag size of salt.
Who sells a 60 kilo kettlebell? How much is it gonna cost? That fucking thing cost me like $50.
No, I mean, you were definitely.
Man, I got that low bung, man.
And in the case of an apocalypse, you have enough salt to last you for.
It's a little dirty, don't get me wrong. It'll probably kill me.
Oh, man.
But I could cook with it probably, and if I turn the temperature up, it's probably all right. You know?
It's probably fine.
So yeah, I was carrying like a sandbag, just doing all that sandbag bullshit, bear hug squats, pickups,
How many
deadlifts,
days a week were you doing that? Were you consistent or?
every single day
You
because
gotta
I
do
was
something
bored as
right.
hell, man.
Otherwise,
I was
yeah.
super bored. Another thing is like I live in Tampines, right? And I moved back to Tampines right before COVID, right? And before that I lived there for like 10 years. I got a chance to kind of like rediscover it. It's fucking beautiful, man. It's an amazing place. You got
That part of
reservoir.
Singapore is my favorite. When you
know.
get out to the east,
You know?
Changi, Tampines, Pasir-Ris, there's a
Yeah.
lot of good stuff out there, and that's the best location in Singapore to open up a new gym.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
the only place it doesn't have.
Yeah, exactly. It's a residential area. You got really cool stuff. There's an eco park like near my house, and I would just go there like every single day. My girl moved over during the circuit breaker, right? So we just spent like a month like walking around every day, like exploring the area. There's a fucking forest, an actual forest. It's like a little secluded garden, like secluded from the city, right? You can't even hear the road. It's
And it's nothing like. I mean, I think the outskirts of Singapore are the nicest part. When you get to the north, when you get the south is whatever. It's all
Yeah.
the
East,
but
northeast,
is-
north. Yeah.
Woodlands, Changi, Tampines, even Sembawang, like up in the north, quite nice.
Yeah, the west
Get
still
to-
can't make it, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I'm just
It's better than the south, dude. The south is the worst. Then you're in the city, like.
Yeah.
I don't know why those people want to be in like the CBD down there. Like,
I don't know, man. I ask my girl that all the time.
Is that where she stays?
Yeah,
Well,
totally. CBD area, man. It's nice. It's all right. But, once you come downstairs, if you got a high floor, it's okay. Once you come downstairs, right, you just got to be ready to adjust your energy level.
Yeah.
Go Super
exactly.
Saiyan. Go Super
You
Saiyan
go
2.
Super Saiyan.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like the Changi area, man. That's my favorite part.
Yeah?
Because I mean, it's like it feels there's space. You know what I mean? When you get out there, you can see birds and animals, and you can walk around, and it's
quiet.
Yeah, it's quiet.
You know?
I quite like that area. My friend lives out there too, but it's a pain in the ass to get anywhere when you're out there. That's the problem.
It's getting better. It only took me an hour to get here.
But that's it. That's it. To be fair, it takes me an hour to get here every day as well.
No shit.
From Sembawang, man. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it was Sembawang, man.
Yeah.
Sembawang, man.
Live
Of course.
in the heartlands, bro. I'm assimilated fully.
You're assimilated fully?
I live.
When you getting your citizenship?
I live with I live with my wife's parents at the moment. We were supposed to see. I got the wrong end of it. We were supposed to move out like the month the circuit breaker hit.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know that.
Couldn't happen. So instead, I'm stuck with the in-laws for another 6 months.
For real? So you're not moving out? Oh, you're gonna rent though, right? You haven't bought a place yet.
No, I haven't bought a place yet.
Okay.
Well, I mean, now we can move out, but of course we couldn't right when circuit breaker hit. We had no choice but to.
Well, you could, but you'd have to look at all the new places with, over Zoom. I knew people that tried doing that. Yeah, they do like a Zoom call and like, hey, here's the place.
Can you actually move in though? Would they let you move in?
You're allowed to move. You're allowed to move. It's like it's totally legal. Yeah. I mean, my girl moved during the circuit. I shouldn't say that.
Hey, delete. Yeah, man. But we're looking forward to getting out, dude.
Yeah.
Getting out pretty soon.
Yeah.
So, man, what do you? Well, I wanted to bring this up because the last time we were on the podcast, we were both brown belts. Do you feel like you've leveled up? You feel like you have a superpower now?
Fuck no.
Do you feel like?
Are you kidding me?
Are you ready to start a cult yet? Are you ready to?
No, dude. By the way, I started a cult way before. I was a black belt, man. Like way before. Yeah.
I feel like
it was awesome, man.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. It got shut down. I got bored of it.
Oh,
I got bored of that cult.
Live your best life, dude. Keep going. It takes time.
I tried. I tried. It just wasn't for me. It's too much effort.
So what was
people underestimate how difficult it is to be a cult leader. Really.
I know, isn't it weird how that sticks to some? I mean, I'm one of those guys that always watches all the cult documentaries. Do you guys do you do that too?
Yeah.
All of them.
Cult documentary?
Yeah. What was did you see the Netflix one about the Indian guy, Bhagwan?
Bhagwan.
I did not, but I know about that guy.
Yeah, that was a crazy one, right? All those Indians just went over and took over that, what was it, a town in Oregon or something?
In Oregon, there we go.
I mean, Jesus, that was so bizarre. I don't, it's such an interesting aspect of human culture, or of human psyche, where people can get sucked up into that cult behavior.
I mean, it's just part of us. It's just part of our mindset. Like, it's just part of our firmware.
We want to be led so bad by some.
We want to be led. We have all kinds of cognitive biases that just kind of like lead us in that direction, right? So you see that everywhere, right? You see it in politics, obviously, right? You see it in religious circles. You see it
in jiu-jitsu
gyms everywhere. Anywhere where you have a social ecosystem, you see that.
Yeah, anywhere where there's like a strict hierarchy.
Yeah.
Right, where it's like, this is the person that you're looking at. He's at the top.
Yeah.
You want to be that guy, so you're going to be subservient to him and do what he says.
Sure.
And, politics, any sort of. That's why I think it tends to be. I've seen elements of it. I mean, not like real fucking cults. I'm not talking about that for jiu-jitsu, but there's little ticks that you see, right? Little small
tropes, right?
Yeah,
tropes.
Yeah, that you do see.
Yeah.
And it's that.
Because for it to be an actual cult, there's a definition for that, right?
Yeah.
I've seen that somewhere. Anyway.
Yeah, there's definitely some definitions to it. Move on to the next subject. Anyway, as my hair's
I have not started a cult.
100 cult books.
I have not started a cult. I feel as a new black belt, like I feel like the same guy. You know what I mean? I just go into the gym every day. Well, not anymore. Not anymore. Okay, I don't do it. But before it was illegal to do so, I'll go to the gym every day and just try to work on my technique.
I mean, we haven't even got to break them in yet, really, the black belts. I got promoted in January, you got promoted in December, and then March we were out, right? Was that circuit breaker was in March?
Yeah, so that's like, I don't know, 4 months? I can't do math anymore. 4 months? 4 months.
Like
yeah.
Man, all of the 4-stripe white belts and blue belts and purple belts all across Singapore just screaming, man.
I wonder if I caused COVID because I got promoted to blue belt and then COVID sort of hit. They do say
that's what happens.
Blue belts do anything to avoid going to training.
Now, to be fair, the three of us had the best move. We got promoted and then COVID hit.
Yeah, we go.
It would have been worse for those people hanging on, or maybe desperately wanting to get their promotion, but it's not happening in 2020.
There you go.
You're gonna be one of the people that promotes someone during the. I've seen some people get promotions during this shit. And I'm like, how?
During the COVID?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Maybe they're due for it, man. Maybe they're one of those like sandbaggers.
They can't train. I guess. Yeah, I can't.
I know plenty of people that should be like a belt above, man. I roll with them like.
That's true.
You're not that belt.
It's a humbling experience, but I miss it. Like I said, I went to a friend's house and rolled 2 weeks ago or something like that. It was the first time I'd rolled since March.
Yeah.
And it was like, remember, like I was playing on my back, and I was like, I almost got giddy. I was like, God damn, this is so, because it felt surreal. right? Like my body is so trained to do this thing, and then I'm laying there. I haven't done it in so long. It was just like kind of hit me in a weird way. I was like, damn, this is kind of feels weird all of a sudden.
I feel it. You know, like I had a similar experience. Like I started playing guard differently, actually. You know, like off my back, like off the top even, right? My game slowly changed, right? Like slightly changed, right? When I picked it up again, you know, because I haven't done it in so long. So all the stuff I was working on right before it hit, right before CB, right? I stopped doing. You know, that was interesting. My game kind of like morphed.
Like what was it? What were you playing then, and what were you doing now?
I was doing a lot of head quarter stuff before it happened, right? It was a lot of head quarter like passing, right? And I wasn't doing that anymore. Like my body wanted to pressure pass and go for the the old school type stuff, right? So over under passing, body lock, double over, that type of stuff. Habib.
Classic stuff.
Habib,
Classic
sorry, I'm saying it wrong.
pressure passing.
Is it Habib or Habib?
I think white people call him Habib. Everyone else calls him Khabib.
But it should be Habib. I mean, like that's Habibi, right? Like it's Arabic.
I
Anyway,
don't know. That'd be your expertise, not me. I can't. If I answer this question, I'm gonna get pulled from YouTube. I can't even.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's totally racist. Yeah, I'll answer the question. It should be Habib. Maybe Dagestani say the other thing. But yeah, like I've been doing all that stuff.
So what were you working on?
Before.
Like right before you finished.
Lots of head core passing, going to the folding pass. You know, like I'm not great at that. Like there's certain details I kind of like with the grip fighting and all that, right?
Gi or no gi?
Gi, you know. And
are you one of those guys that now that you're black belt, you stop doing no gi because you gotta let everybody see what's up? Like so, I've never taken the gi off again
because everyone's doing leg locks, right? And no gi.
No, just
and I don't know leg locks.
You want to put that fucking belt on? You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not that.
Look at that.
It's more because I'm burying gi now.
That's right. Observe me.
I'm just burying gi, you know, because everyone's doing leg locks and I get punked on leg locks. And no.
Don't shy away from it, man. Go into it.
I'm trying.
Dude, the last time I rolled with you, you were just all you were trying to do was leg locks.
No, that's not true.
You were inverting like.
I was trying to defend leg locks, and I was only doing leg locks because your class was leg lock class, and I was like, you know what, I should try, right?
That's what we got to do, man. You got to go into the uncomfortableness.
I've been trying. Me and my boy who shall not be named are working on it a little bit, you know.
What are you doing? Like what kind of?
Just the standards. I mean, I gotta start at the basics, right? Like, you know,
is it like inside Senkaku or you doing outside Senkaku? Or are you doing the Lachlan Giles stuff?
Inside Senkaku, Lachlan Giles. Like I have a good entry for it because you know I already play like Z guard, right? So I already have a decent entry to the K guard / whatever.
That's what you were trying to do when I was rolling with you. I remember you were trying to get me the K guard. You son of a bitch.
Actually, no. I was going for 50-50.
Oh, was it?
That's my thing.
I just remember you had the Z
like,
and you went gable grip on the leg, starting to try to turn. I thought you were going to try like a K guard into the.
Yeah, but like my foot doesn't come out, so the foot that's under doesn't come out to go in the K guard, right? It just stays there, so it's a 50-50 entry.
So I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So it's more like 50-50 entry, right? And you know, I'm all right at that, you know, but mostly in gi I use it to get to 50-50 and then
come up?
Sweep. Yeah. Like come up on 50-50. I'm all right at that, you know, depending on the person. Like a lot of people don't know how to take the back.
I feel it's the most underrated part that I see people training leg locks. Is sweeping off of them.
Sweeping off the leg locks?
Because everybody just wants to finish, right? Everybody just wants to. Yeah, of course. I mean, you get a good bite on the leg and you make them defend it. You can come up a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's true.
And most people only use it like they're so submission heavy with the leg locks.
Yeah.
But man, you get tons of sweeps from that.
Yeah, you get the what they call it, the scissor entry into inside.
I mean, any of that stuff,
that's
right?
a knee slide.
A decent bite on a heel, right? Especially like that Lachlan Giles stuff where you're facing the back.
Sure.
You know that heel hook.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you can just easily come up from there.
So instead of going for the heel hook, the inside heel hook, you would sit up, grab the hips.
Take the back. Yeah, sure.
Okay, and then you would like do the meow style, like
sit
and grab and crab ride, reverse crab ride. I forgot jiu-jitsu. I'm not.
Whatever the fuck, dude.
I'm sorry. I'm a white belt now. So
yeah, exactly. We're making ourselves sound stupid right now.
Stupid. Yeah.
Take the black belts away. We don't know what the fuck we're talking about. I do feel like it is quite weird that this is the longest break I've taken from jiu-jitsu in 5 or 6 years, I would say.
Oh shit.
Since I came to Singapore.
You've never gone hurt, like injured, right? Like blown your knee out or something and had to do that?
No, the longest break I took was university. Okay. There was 2 years where I was pretty in and out. I would maybe train like a couple times a month.
All right.
And then, but since I moved back to Singapore, I've been.
And you were like a blue belt or purple?
I was purple belt then.
Purple, okay. No shit. You basically, so you took time off during the purple belt. You hit purple belt,
Well,
and you're like, I got shit to do.
I had a fast
Nice.
start and then a long slog at the end toward my
Gotcha.
belts. I got my
Gotcha.
purple in a year and a half.
Wow. All right.
But I
That's
wrestled
super fast.
But I wrestled amateur for years before,
That's
so I'd already
that's
had a pretty
amazing.
solid
Yeah,
base.
yeah.
So in like 6 months, I had my blue belt,
That's fucking amazing.
and then it took me a little over a year. So I guess it was like a year and a little more than. 6
And then you
months, a year, 8
rediscovered
months, a
jiu-jitsu
year.
as a purple belt.
Yeah, and then when I moved back to Singapore, I was when I started training at Evolve, and then I got back into it and started training. But then I spent like, at that point, I was a purple for 7 years, and then like a brown for 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So the time ended up catching up, dude. In the end, I was like, oh, I'm fucking really good at this. And then like by the end of brown belt, I'm like ready to fucking shoot myself in the head. I was like,
I think the longest I've taken was like 8-9 months.
was
something
that
like
injury?
Injury, yeah.
Was that your knee?
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I think the longest one wasn't even my knee. Like with the worst injury I had was blowing out my PCL. That was the first big knee injury I had.
Where's the PCL?
So ACL goes like that.
Is it in the side
I don't
of the
even
knee?
know. Okay, so you got 2 ligaments. I don't know. Which
Bro
is
science, here we
Which.
come.
Bro science. There we go.
What's in your leg?
So you know your leg, right?
Jay, can you
Your
look up a
leg has
PCL?
these
What the hell's a
ligaments.
PCL? Oh, you don't have the laptop today. Yeah, sorry.
Your leg has these cords, these rubber bands, right?
They're called ligaments. I think?
Ligaments, yeah, that hold the bones
So what
together.
did you tore it?
Okay, so you got 2 major ligaments. The 2 biggest ones are ACL, PCL, right? And then the 2 laterals are LCL, MCL. MCL in the inside, whatever. I guess too much. The PCL is the giant one. It's the biggest one, but it's also the one you don't really need.
Oh, I thought the
Thankfully.
ACL was the biggest one.
The ACL is the most important one.
Oh, okay.
So if you blow out your ACL, more than likely.
That's stability, right? When you have that
Serious.
shit. Yeah.
So with PCL, for most things, you can get away with it, right? If you have strong quads, especially, and I'm blessed with
Yeah, you got some big old fucking
big
claws on
old
you, dude.
drumsticks.
That
You know what I'm
damn
saying?
ridiculous.
Like genetics. Thank you, Dad.
And
you
now
know?
that you're shaving your legs, you just got some damn
I'm
sexy
not-
looking
I'm
legs,
not
dude.
shaving
you did
my
it
legs.
One time. I wouldn't put you on blast except for I said it on another podcast a
okay,
couple weeks ago.
Okay, all
I was
right.
talking to.
You remember,
Who
you
were we
remember.
talking to? Oh yeah, Tiffany Teo was on the podcast, and I mentioned that. Day
You
came
told
in.
Tiffany that
I
I
don't know
waxed
how-
my legs.
I don't know how it came in. I just remember we were sitting here rolling in class
Yeah,
that day.
yeah.
And I was like, I think I said it to you. I was like, Maher, why are your legs so smooth? And you were like, bro, I shaved them. And I was like,
I did not shave them.
or waxed them.
I waxed my legs. I waxed my legs with a. Okay, so you know if you go to one of these parlors, right? They won't give you a guy. They give you a lady. I got my legs waxed by a lady. Like
Here's
I
the
had
question.
to
How deep did they go?
all the way.
All the way.
I did the ass crack, man.
You did the ass
I
crack.
went all the
You
way.
went deep. Okay, I
My
wasn't
girlfriend-
going to say
girlfriend
it. I was going to see if
Introduced
you
the
would say it.
idea, and I was like, you know what? Let's just go. Let's try it. She
Did
had
you
a
feel like more aerodynamic
yeah,
afterward?
yeah,
Were you harder to leg lock?
yeah.
I mean, I feel
I
like
was
that's a
really
real
hard.
that's
I'm
a real
serious.
thing.
That's a
Yeah.
real thing.
Listen,
Yeah.
you know what's weird?
Oil, like my natural skin oil, that like just like I was just slipping and sliding everywhere. It was
You know
crazy.
what, man? I cannot judge you because I don't want to be with a lady who's got a hairy ass. So why would you, as a
Okay.
man, maybe ladies
Have-
also
maybe
don't
some
wanna
ladies
look
like
at a
that.
hairy ass?
Exactly.
So you know what?
Maybe
Kudos
as a
to you.
man, you don't want to look at your own hairy ass. You know.
That's fair. I
There
mean,
you go.
I hadn't really thought about it, but yeah, that's
Oh,
that's
by the
fair.
way, I didn't wax my ass. I wax.
Everything, all the way up,
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
way down and around.
Super awkward, by the way. Like just super, super awkward.
But
like
I-
the pain helps. You know
It
what I'm
helps?
saying? It helps. It helps the situation.
Did you feel like you couldn't show any like pain or discomfort at all, or did you just let it go?
Okay, it wasn't because I was a lady, right? It was more from like my own sake.
Did
like
you pose? Were you like how did
yeah,
you do it?
yeah, of course. I posed.
Confidently, or were you slightly?
But that's internal. That's like an internal like self-esteem issue. I'm one of those people like if I go on a roller coaster, I don't like to, you know, like scream too much. I
Yeah.
don't do that. I'm
You
like,
don't
nah,
wanna
I got
over-emote.
this. Yeah, but it's mostly for myself. I'm
Yeah.
not doing it for everybody. It's for myself.
For sure.
My own self-respect. You know what I'm saying?
So
like
what's your
I
attitude
was
going
I was a
into
lot
this?
of I was like meditating. You know, like trying to internalize the pain a lot, right? Because you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be, yeah, like you're only gonna
Getting
meet
your
this
balls
person one
waxed and
time.
screaming out like a bitch.
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
want to be that guy.
You're probably not gonna come back and get the same person to wax your legs. So
Wouldn't you want?
she's not gonna care, right?
Here's a question: have you gone back?
I have not gone back.
Okay.
You know what? So you know,
Circuit breaker.
no,
It just-
no.
Pain. Mainly pain.
Was it?
I like the pain.
Oh, so it wasn't too bad.
It was the pain after, right? Because when you wax your legs, you know, you get the hairs come back out. They grow
painful?
back.
That
All
was
right,
painful?
and when they come back out, what you get? You get ingrown hairs.
Oh.
And I got a lot of surface area, right? And I wear jeans and stuff, right?
Oh,
So
so
I got ingrown hairs all over. It was
Really?
ridiculous, all over my leg. It was disgusting. You know, you have to live with that. It hurt like hell. Oh, so
But-
yeah, I just gave up on the idea.
But you
I don't know how
felt
women do
more aerodynamic and slippery when you fought.
it. Hydrodynamic.
Yes, hydrodynamic. It's like that scene
What's
from... So, do you ever watch Pineapple Express?
Yeah, of course.
It's like that. You know what I'm talking about?
No, but
You don't know Pineapple Express?
of course I know Pineapple Express, but which scene?
As Danny McBride, he like wearing his robe or
Yeah,
whatever,
okay,
and
okay.
he's
Shaves
waxing his
his-
bits, and then he's like, "Bro, you wax your pits." He's like, "Yeah, it makes me more aerodynamic when I fight."
I just watched that movie like a few months ago.
So good, so good. I love that movie. It's like one of the best stoner like action
It's the
comedies.
best. It's like the. Well, I don't know if that was a definitive stoner film before that, but that was definitely like for me.
Stoner like
that was a
action
definite-
movie. There's like the old stoner movies where it's like Bill and Ted and like Harold and Kumar
Okay.
and.
Oh yeah, Harold and Kumar.
There's
Right?
tons of
That's
stoner,
the original. Yeah.
stoner
yeah.
comedies, but like
Sure.
that was had a weird action kind of thing to it, right? Like all these weird fights and
But it's only like halfway through, right?
Yeah.
You got the car chase, and then you got that crazy finale when it
the
just
fight with Danny
degenerates.
McBride inside
Yeah.
the house
Yeah.
where they slam his head into the sink and shit. I love that scene.
Yes.
You see that,
Yes.
Jake? Did you
I've
see?
not seen. I've seen.
You've never seen Pineapple Express?
No.
Bro.
You've never seen, but Pineapple Express is required watching, like for
I think
everyone
there's-
on Earth.
Yeah, you gotta watch
Everyone
that.
on the planet.
But you need a
should
particular
pirate.
substance.
Yeah, I think there's something
You need a
missing.
particular substance to really enjoy it. Not that we would ever.
You do not.
No.
You do not. I don't think so. I think that you can enjoy it on two different levels, actually.
You can.
I just think one of those levels would be far more enjoyable than the other.
It would be in the spirit that the film was made in.
I disagree. I think that Pineapple Express is one of those films that holds up on both levels.
It does hold up still,
You know
I
what I'm
think.
saying? Yeah.
It does hold up still. That's
I
true.
think it has something
I can
for
watch that
everybody.
sober for sure.
Yeah, but like you just see an added dimension or another dimension of it, right?
Yeah.
When you're in that state of mind. Know what I'm
So
saying?
yeah, so to bring this back, the reason I mentioned your legs is because I can't remember we were talking. I was talking to Tiffany on the
Yeah,
podcast,
yeah.
and somehow you came up and we talked about your silky
legs.
smooth,
Yeah.
silky smooth legs.
Hey man, everybody talks about my legs, man.
that-
Yeah, they're amazing.
Oh,
They're they're my best body part.
Is that your most confident body part?
That's
If
my.
you had to pick, would that be
It's
it?
my best body part, you know,
feel
and
like
I don't.
Your Tinder profile is just your fucking smooth
Yeah,
quads.
yeah, totally. You know.
Jack
Yeah.
flexing.
Flexing.
Yeah, it's just me and like I have a shirt on and like underwear, like speedos.
Oh, tight
Yeah,
speedos.
yeah. I put the tan on there, like bodybuilding.
It's
I
only
stand
the
right under
crotch
the light.
down, that's
you
it?
know? I stand right under the light and just make sure that I got the striations.
I'm striated.
That was my Tinder profile. Yeah.
I'm striated, bro. That's fucking funny.
Nah, that's not true. That's not true. You want the legs to be like a surprise. You know what I'm saying? The legs are like a surprise. You know, you want.
Are you a leg guy? Is that your thing?
I'm like I like squats and shit. You know, like
But
I'm
even
squatting
for-
right now. You know,
For your lady, is that a thing that you like?
that I
Are
like.
you an ass guy, a leg guy? What are we?
Am I an ass guy?
Yeah, a leg guy. Is that your thing?
No, man. I'm
Why
a
are we
pack-
talking about this? I don't know.
I'm a whole package. No, I'm a whole package. I'm a whole package.
I look at the personality.
Yeah. As he rolls his eyes.
But
He has a child. This podcast has gotten out of hand, everybody. I don't know. We've degenerated into we're not even drinking this time.
I know. We got coffee. We got this awesome Vietnamese coffee, that Trung Nguyen.
We're
you know
being
what I'm saying?
more degenerates in this podcast than the last one when we were drinking the whole time. I don't know what's going
That's
on
what
right
coffee
now.
does to you, man. You know, like I would say, like I was telling my girlfriend today, like if you could have a pill, right, that would block the effects of caffeine, right? Like that you could take it and it would just neutralize caffeine, and you could drink coffee like at night, right? Coffee would just be what everyone drank.
You don't drink coffee at night?
I don't drink because I can't sleep.
Does
right?
it really? It gets
Yeah,
you-
I'm one of those people.
Are you
like,
a daily drinker of coffee?
I'm a daily drinker of coffee.
And it still is like, dude, I can drink coffee.
This is
in
my
the
fourth
bed.
cup.
Oh, so is this your first cup?
Fourth
Fourth? Oh.
cup. I don't fuck around.
So
Like,
it affects you.
I'm one of those people.
Do you make it strong?
Do I make strong coffee?
Yeah.
You want to taste it? Okay, actually, no, we shouldn't
I
because
mean-
this is a horrible
Not
idea.
on air.
Only if you pour it in my mouth directly.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's try.
We're not. I don't know, man. I don't even know what we can do anymore. God damn it, I hate this world that we live in. I know we're not supposed to like you share gloves at the gym. We're not supposed to do share. Yeah, we're not supposed to share any equipment.
You can't like wipe it down, or
Well, I mean, we wipe it down every day, but people are only supposed to bring their own things in. That's like part of the restrictions is you're not allowed to.
Probably not a bad idea.
No, makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of makes
but
sense.
I want to try some of your delicious. I want you to feed me some of your delicious.
This is coffee.
Let's just make this podcast awkward as fuck.
I'll leave some for you, man.
Give me some of that coffee while you're telling me about your legs and
Shade
What's the
again.
best?
Exactly.
What's the best? Yeah.
creep. It's all dudes that watch this podcast. It's just make it weird, make everybody run away crying.
Really? No. Well,
Two black belts
what's all,
having a moment together.
Talking about squats and legs and leg gains.
I know.
I'm saying squat gains.
I need to get back on some leg days, man.
Get it, man. Get it.
I can't. Our gym is closed.
Which gym?
I don't know. We train at one in
one that
Simba. It's one of those 24-hour gyms that now they can only be open for 8 hours a day when there's somebody there, and it's when we're at work. So
Really?
yeah, 12 to 8 is the only time that they can be open.
Active SG gyms. I don't know if you got access to one, but I got one in Tampines, right? Active SG, like $2.5 a pop, right? Like they're amazing, right? And you have to book it like a week in advance or something, right? Like 10 days in advance because the demand is crazy, right? And they got limited slots, but it's $2.50, and they have like the one I go to is like 4 squat racks.
Oh, nice.
4 squat racks, 2 Olympic lifting platforms, just all the weights, bumper plates. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I walk in and there's like a bunch of kids that are lifting like twice what I lift. It's ridiculous.
Just shaming you with your giant
Just
quads.
shaming me.
And you're like, but look at my quads. They're
Like serious
huge.
lifters. Oh my god.
I was just talking to Major
They've
yesterday.
gone so strong.
Yeah, I know, dude. As I get older and older and older, I look at these young kids and I'm just like, God damn you.
Everyone's squatting.
They're all coming for us, man.
So like when I started lifting 10 years ago, I think like everyone was bench pressing. That was the thing, right? There was still that, like I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna like bench press, I'm gonna do buys and tries, all that shit, right? You know, like pretty boy type training, right? You know, now it's all squats. Like now everyone, that's the in thing, right? Squats and pull-ups and overhead press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody in Singapore, like, there's some big ass legs in Singapore, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in America,
nice.
it's all about bro lifting. Everybody is the same thing. Everybody wants buys, tries, chest, traps.
Singapore is getting up there in powerlifting.
it?
Like, it's not bad in powerlifting, apparently. You know, like surprising for such a small country.
I'm not surprised, man. Singapore is like people here are so like hobby oriented. Like everybody here, it's because there's not other ways to degenerate your life into the abyss of all of the horrible desires that you can get into in other countries. So people
All
are just
the
like, I'm
opiates.
all of the drugs and all of the chaos and all of the nonsense and all of the things that you can easily find yourself getting into in other countries just don't exist here. So people are like, let's get jacked.
Yeah, you know, like it's not
Circuit
like I can go
breaker,
in my
stay at home for
corner.
4 months, no problem. I'm gonna get ripped. Meanwhile, I'm just like drinking myself into
I'm gonna become a
oblivion every day.
marathon runner. I'm gonna get my 10K down.
I know. People are just, and I'm like, I feel kind of like shit, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, I should be probably improving my life, but
Like I live near Bidoque Reservoir, right? And it was packed, like on Sundays, Saturdays, like it
during
was
circuit
like,
breaker.
yeah, I had a video, like I took a video of it, and it looked like a carnival, right? Like it literally looked like a carnival of people. Like they had a
Jogging
fairground with a fucking the what do they call it, the spinning wheel? What do they call
Yeah.
it? What do they call it?
Is that a Ferris wheel?
The Ferris wheel. They got Ferris wheel and shit, but they didn't.
Yeah,
It was just a bunch of people down there, like 1,000 people.
Am I the only one that like got kind of depressed during circuit breaker and just didn't want to do shit? I mean,
I think everybody got depressed a little bit.
but people really fought through it, man. Like a lot of people. I mean, to be fair, I took up some hobbies and stuff. That's where I started learning how to like video edit.
Yeah.
And that was like my task when I was going through circuit breaker.
You
But,
upgraded.
like,
You upgraded.
Without, yeah, I mean, it was something I needed to do, right? So I can make sure the podcast stays consistent and everything. But then beyond that, like training for me has always been the crutch. And so when I lost that, I was just like, damn, that's the thing that makes me not drink. That's the thing that makes me not slip into the realm of chaos.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing that makes me keep myself healthy, and that's the reason I don't
It's the
fuck my
glue.
life up. It's the glue that
Yeah.
keeps everything going.
Yeah,
And when I
same.
didn't have that, and plus I couldn't go outside, I'm not allowed to visit any friends, I was just like, damn, man, I didn't get depressed, like, you know, like crazy.
You're
or
not
anything.
crying. You're not
Yeah,
like.
but I just, like-
You're not like on the couch. Just like, oh,
Yeah, I wasn't like that, but I was still like doing kettlebells and stuff, but I did just could feel the absence of that for the first time, where it was taken from me as opposed to being something that I just, you know, like before if I didn't train it was because I fucked off and wanted to do something else or whatever. But here I was like, oh, I can't do this right now.
Yeah. Like I went through that a little bit. I mean, it was a little easier because I've gotten hurt before, right? Like I've taken, I think like over a year and a half off altogether, right? Just because of like knee injuries and shit, right? Like foot injuries, right? But every time I had to like I went through that. You know, it's just normal. It's just the way it is. Like jiu-jitsu is such a big part of like on my end, like it's a big part of my social life.
Totally.
You know, like the people I train with are also, you know, I hang out with them afterwards, right? Like we do nothing for like 45 minutes after every train session.
Sit there and shoot the shit.
Yeah, like I used to lift weights. Like I used to squat and bench press and shit, right?
You're talking a lot about your squat.
A little bit too much. But I got a point
love
here.
Your legs, bro.
I got a point here. But like I would lift weights because just to stay in the gym and like shoot the shit.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a huge aspect of it that's social.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
And then when that's taken away from you and you can't go and visit your friends, you can't go.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It affected a lot of people.
No excuse anymore. No excuses to get together anymore, right?
No.
And you can't legally, right? So.
And Singapore seems to be being quite conservative with making sure they don't reopen, because you see that Malaysia has to go back in.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
They have to go back into.
Did you see Melbourne today?
Melbourne.
Yeah, what happened?
Oh my God, Melbourne's like state of emergency.
No shit.
6 weeks, full on code red lockdown.
Damn.
One person per household can leave once a day.
Holy shit.
That's it.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
What are the
crazy.
numbers like? Because Melbourne's about the same size as Singapore, right?
Yeah, it's. I forget the numbers.
Yeah.
I've got family that live there and stuff, but yeah, they've absolutely, because they're just getting these random, unexplained cases in the community, so they have completely gone back
nuts,
into
man.
like serious lockdown.
Did they do the mask thing and everything? Like, was it like mandatory?
I think they were doing masks, and then I mean, they've already done one lockdown, and then something went wrong, and somewhere. Like we had the situation here where in the migrant worker dorms, that got out of hand. But the government here spotted it straight away, you know, got on top of it.
No, they didn't. Anyway.
They did better than some countries.
Yeah, I've got a work pass. Yes, they did. But in Melbourne, something just went undetected, and now they're there. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's why Singapore's being so conservative. I mean, because there's so many countries that are receding back after they opened up too early.
Second
wave. U.S. is brutal. I mean, I still find it hilarious, right? At least with the U.S. Like, I see an article every day that's like, this like Walmart is making face masks mandatory, and I'm like,
what?
Just now? Just now? The shit's been going on for 6 months. They're just
what
making.
What about my freedom to breathe? What about my freedom to breathe, man?
Freedom to breathe.
The number of people, you see them on the videos, and they're like, oh, I can't wear a mask, I've got a medical condition. If your medical condition is so bad, you can't wear a mask, you shouldn't be shopping.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a mask somewhere, actually it's at home, but I got like, they're foam masks you can buy, and you breathe through them fine. Right, so no excuses.
It's just that weird part of the American psyche that doesn't want to be told what to do.
Yeah,
they're like, damn the whole world if you think you're going to tell me what to do.
I feel like it's really interesting to watch that stuff. Really interesting.
I mean, there are good aspects about American culture and the American psyche, but this is, now you can see clearly countries that have a more collectivist ethos built into their society, like Japan, Korea, Asian countries, where they tend to just. The ethos of their culture is more collectivist in the sense that they feel more personal responsibility for your health. Whereas like America is like in my rights and my freedoms, and in some aspects that part of the culture is interesting and good and fascinating and has elements to it that are nice, but then run amok as you see it now in certain ways, you're just like, damn man, this is the other side of the coin. So
much of it is just like narrative, right? Public narrative, right? Like that's pushed through media and all that, right? So much of it is just that, right? Because everything's polarized, right?
Oh, dude, let me tell you a story, right? So
we don't have that. We don't have that here.
Oh yeah, not in the same way.
No.
So let me tell you the story. I was, you know, she's not going to find, even if she does, I don't care. My sister got COVID.
Oh, no shit.
Right? She's a very, she's a lovely person, right? But she's very, very Christian. I mean, I'm from West Virginia, right? It's the Bible Belt.
Oh, yeah.
And she's extremely Christian. All they post about church 3 days a week, it's all they post. It's their whole life is Christian.
Cool.
Right? And they're like apostolic Pentecostal. They're the speak in tongues, like really
the
hardcore
cool stuff.
Christian.
The cool stuff.
Right? You're speaking in tongues, like eating the flesh of Jesus and the wine and the.
But we all do that, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Unless it's actual flesh, like
eating human flesh.
Human flesh. It's my flesh.
So but this is when I could really see how this has just become more of a political narrative than anything. So she got COVID, and it was probably, I assume, at the church, which is where a lot of this stuff is spreading in the U.S.
Oh no!
And then I don't know that for sure. That's speculation, but most probably because that's the social activity they go to.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain they weren't wearing masks, just based on that. Again, speculating here a little bit. Okay. But then she posted something on Facebook. She's updating everybody like, "Hey, I'm okay." To her, she said it felt like a sinus infection or some allergies or something like that. She's okay.
Yeah.
But then the next thing she posted was, "Oh, my doctor wouldn't prescribe me hydroxychloroquine, so I'm gonna go find another doctor." And then I was like, "Oh God, oh God."
Yeah, I know.
Oh God,
I know.
You're gonna find a different doctor because Trump spouted this hydroxychloroquine and it became a political talking point. So she's gonna find another doctor who said it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because
even though like they've done studies on it, the data's all out there. It doesn't really work. Blah blah blah. But still,
just the mentality of not listening to a doctor because of some shit you saw on Fox News.
You know what really concerns
blows
me?
my mind.
You know what concerns me though? Like we still get that. Like, so you know how like we watch movies, right? Like that's an American product, right? Like we consume American media just in general, right? The news is entertainment to some extent, right? Yeah. Like 24/7 news is kind of entertainment too, right?
For sure.
Yeah, especially here in this part of the world, it doesn't really affect us that much, not directly. Right? It might affect certain things in the long run.
But it's like the reality show overseas that people watch here, right?
There you go.
Everybody's watching the American situation. And if you're not there, it's just like...
Am I wrong? Like, can you get Fox News here?
I don't know. I mean, you can watch it all on YouTube and...
You know?
But even if it's on... I mean, it's...
We consume it here.
All of the Trump stuff is on Channel News Asia all the time. Like, there's always these regular updates. Everybody's watching it on YouTube. Like...
Everywhere.
The American
you can
political...
consume it if you're into it.
How do you want to say it? The American political reality show that Donald Trump has created is just, internationally everybody's eating popcorn and watching Portland. Give me some popcorn. Protest. Black Lives Matter. Eat that shit up.
It ain't just Trump. It's like it's a whole package.
150,000 dead. Eat that shit. Like
exactly.
Everybody knows.
It's
everybody's watching
it.
It's
the whole package. Everything. Right.
When
all
you're
that
not
fun
in
stuff.
It's so fascinating.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's fun to watch, right? But I don't know that can't be healthy.
But being in it, like. Living there at the moment, I mean, it's got to be fucking chaos.
Yeah, man.
Like, you see people getting abducted in fucking Portland, and then like them taking over the courthouses.
My boy Derek is over there right now, right?
In
Georgia. No, he's in Georgia. Yeah, he's in Georgia. He's in Lynn, Georgia, right? And it's like, well, he's right in the middle of it. It's like really interesting to watch, right? Like that's what he was telling me. Man, I can't imagine what it's like to experience that firsthand. And maybe I don't want to.
Yeah,
maybe I don't want to.
I'm good not being part. I mean, dude, it's like the doomsday clock is ticking off until November.
Why November?
That's when the election is.
Oh, right.
And Trump's talking about maybe he's not gonna. He's like, oh, he's trying to get rid of mail-in ballots. He's trying to say that maybe he's not going to honor the election because he's trying to say the government that it's going to be fraudulent with all these
mail-in ballots. What's wrong with mail-in ballots?
He just doesn't want them because it's not going to.
Oh, right, because it's not a national holiday.
And he's going to say that it's corrupt.
Poor people can't vote. Yeah. A lot of poor people can't vote
because of COVID.
Right.
A lot of people want to do mail-in ballots, and he's saying that mail-in ballots are going to.
Can't you do mail-in ballots anyway?
Of course you can.
Like you can
absolutely you can.
Like you're if you vote, you got mail-in ballots. So.
But most of those people, most of the absentee ballots and most of the mail-in ballots lean left.
Right. Okay, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, and then he's saying he may not honor the results of the election, and then he's talking about suspending it because of COVID and all this kind of shit. And then you're just counting down the days, and I'm like, here we go, dude. November is gonna be fucking crazy.
It's gonna be very interesting to watch.
Don't want to be there.
I highly doubt America is the worst hit country on earth, though. I think it's just because they kind of do testing. They actually test as much as Singapore, I think, right?
Oh, they do test.
I might be wrong. I don't know. Whatever.
No, I'm sure they do.
Kinda, But yeah, I mean, don't forget, Somalia got 23 people. Got COVID, so.
Well, there's a lot of those countries, of course, that are unreported. Even China, like their numbers are ridiculously low. It's like,
really?
Stop.
Really?
Well, the reported numbers.
Oh, okay.
It's like exactly right, exactly.
That would be fair. I mean, if you lock down the entire city with the military and shit, like.
Yeah. What's your opinion on that? Because I've had this conversation with a few people, and when it comes to like. I'm of the thought, and maybe this is the conservative part of me.
Okay.
But I'm of the thought that like people should be kind of mad at China for collapsing the global economy and like it's not China's fault per se. Like you can't be like China's responsible. There's no way to like hold them to account for it in that sense. But this is the third coronavirus to come out of China in the last decade, right?
Right, but they got
these wet
people.
markets, or maybe it came from a lab. Who knows? You want to go down the conspiracy route? I don't know.
We could, right?
But I feel like.
But there's no
everybody's
real
laughing
evidence.
at the U.S., right? Everybody's just kind of watching the show in the U.S. Like I said, eating the popcorn. But I'm kind of like, man, this is pretty crazy that a disease that either originated from a fucked up wet market where they got animals right on top of each other,
You don't know that,
from
though.
a lab,
No,
whatever.
No. You don't know that though. It could have been the wet market. It could have been the lab.
Those are the two.
But the lab,
big
it's
theories,
like
right?
really, like probably not, right? Like there's no real evidence for that. They say it could have been, just some exotic meat type thing, right? That's a whole pangolin.
I mean, I'm
connection,
just
blah, blah,
picking
blah,
the
blah,
whole
blah.
two big
Right.
stories, right? I don't care which one it is.
But why would you be mad at China? Because at the end of the day, like it's gonna happen. Like there's gonna be wet markets in like third world places. Like
I'm not like mad at them, but globally, people should be like, you probably need to up your standards for either your labs or your wet markets because it's collapsed the global economy and killed 1 million fucking people.
So you remember? What?
I'm sorry. No, have you both seen Chernobyl, the HBO? Have you seen that?
Yeah, a
no,
bit of it.
No, I haven't.
There's a scenario on that where Chernobyl happens and it explodes, and the guys are going, "Oh no, it's fine. The reading's 25. Don't worry about it." And the Geiger counter only goes up to 25. And he's like, "Well, it's obviously higher than 25." He's like, "No, it's 25. It says." And you did get the feeling the Chinese situation was a bit like that they're like, "Well, we've counted 100 people, so we've only got 100 cases."
I mean, do you remember?
Well, no, you've only counted 100 though. Like,
Plenty.
And you remember in November when they were like, they still had their airports open. They still had all trade open.
They didn't know that was a thing in November, right? It was like
November, December is when it started.
It's like December when it
started to come out in China, and it's like, man,
look at it this way.
it's so infectious, and nobody knew.
Maybe we should close our borders to China, right?
They did in Singapore, right? Yeah. But after a certain point, I don't know how long.
After a certain point, there was still Chinese tourists.
Hindsight's 2020. I'm not saying like be mad at them. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, I guess you could sanction them or whatever. But the whole point is like, I think it's a wake up call for the world that has not dealt with a deadly pandemic like this in a long time. That like we're so globally connected and so globally integrated as a human species now that the threats that we deal with are so, especially when it comes to infectious disease, are so easy to just infect and spread across the whole world because we're so globally connected now that maybe we need a fail-safe in situations like this as a world.
We should. So
right?
Put it this way, right? Okay, so epidemiologists, say it please. Epidemiologists. Oh my God.
Epidemiology.
Yes. Okay. That. Have been saying bro science. But they've been predicting like a major pandemic for what 20 years at this point.
I guess we're due, right?
Supposedly we're due in another 10. There'll be another in 10 years. There's going to be another coronavirus-like pandemic, right? And it's not like we haven't had close calls, right? SARS was a thing. Ebola totally happened, right? There's plenty of these types of close calls. So we don't have like the systems down there, right?
We've sort of dodged a bullet on this one as well, because obviously it's not good. I mean, collapse the global economy, lots of people have died. Yeah. But
it could have been worse.
Yeah, like the infection rates, what 1%, less than 1%. Yeah. What would you like? It could have been 10%.
Yeah. Could be crazy. Like in Singapore.
Do you think we can learn? Do you think humans will learn? Like, is anything gonna come from this? Do you anticipate? Let's say mid next year, the world finally gets shit under control, right? Maybe that's probably plausible. Mid next year.
Sure.
Do you think the global community will actually put steps in place to prevent? I think it will just be like, we'll just go back, because humans have a nasty tendency of one, learning lessons too late, or two, after a certain amount of time, just kind of forgetting the lessons that they learned anyway.
Okay, look at it this way. When you scale back all the way, right? The history of humanity is altogether one-off success. Right? There's a general upward trend.
I mean,
right?
the 20th century was pretty rough, but we learned from that.
Well, compared to the 19th, compared to the 18th century, like look at it this way: we have less wars in the 20th century than before.
That's true. This is the best time to be alive still.
Less people died per capita, right? Yeah. So it's still like a general upward trend, because at the end of the day, we're still kind of building towards stuff. We are a rational species, right? And we're also economically driven. right? If it's gonna save us like economically, right, then we're probably gonna put steps in place to like save our asses, right?
Yeah.
You know, if it's for our best interest, right? Things get in the way, though, right? Like, you know, biases get in the way, right? Like, you know, narratives, like cultural narratives get in the way, right? Things we tell ourselves, right, as a whole, as a collective. But at the end of the day, we kind of learn. We change the narratives slowly, but we change the narratives.
But then you see so much idiocy where you can see the reptile brain fucking showing its face when you see, it's like, okay, during the bubonic plague, what did you do? You socially distance, you wear fucking masks. What did people done through all of the pandemics that have happened?
No,
they tell you socially distance, wear a face covering.
Did they do that during the bubonic plague? Like the bubonic plague wiped out
the Spanish flu. That's what
everyone.
That's what they said, right? Wear a mask, socially distance.
To go to highlight, man.
But they killed a lot of people, man.
But
it didn't work.
But the advice was still the same, and then somehow wearing masks has become political football in some countries.
But maybe it was like that back then.
But, I can help you with that one.
You know?
So the bubonic plague, basically, to highlight man's stupidity at times, everyone got it in their heads it was caused by cats. So they killed all the... Yeah,
not rats,
not rats. They were like, because loads of rats came in, so then there were more cats. And obviously older times, they were like, there's lots of cats, that must be causing it. So then they killed all the cats, making the rat population explode.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense.
obviously made the
makes
problem
sense. Yeah,
worse.
totally.
So
that makes sense. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, that's how humanity deals with things, make the problem worse.
My cat.
We've been known to do that throughout history. It is an upward trend. Like, well, I mean, but it can also go back. It can go back. I mean, if you think of like the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, like up to that point. Well, I guess in some parts of the world things got better.
Yeah, Dark Ages is Dark Ages
in
for
Europe. Yeah, that's true.
But
we can go
also
backwards.
technologically, the Dark Ages wasn't that really dark. Like that was you know, Hank Green on YouTube. You ever watch that guy? Yeah, there we go. He has a whole thing on it. Like
yeah, I love that shit.
The history. What's it called? Damn,
His channel.
Yeah, that was I learned. Hank Green was the presenter, but that wasn't his channel. Oh my God.
PBS.
Yeah. Oh wow. Crash Course, World History.
That's it.
Okay.
Crash Course is awesome.
The OG, the one of the first, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, they have a whole thing on that. The Dark Ages wasn't really the Dark Ages.
Especially not for like China, not for parts of the Middle
even
East.
even Europe. Even Europe. It's only considered Dark Ages for certain things, right?
But I guess the thing that would set us back would be a disease, or I mean, we've even survived wars. I mean, it's pretty horrible. Like hundreds of millions of dead in the 20th century from World War I, World War II.
Sure. Yeah. Think
Maoist
about
China,
that. Yeah.
You know, all that shit.
Yeah.
And then
of 20% of the human population or something like.
And everyone was still like, yeah, but it was still a pretty good time to be alive. I guess it would take like a
we rebounded and we had another war.
Yeah.
We had another war. It was even worse.
Yeah.
And we nuked people.
Then the Cold War followed, mutually assured destruction with this discovery of nuclear weapons.
Aiming nukes at each other.
I know what we got to talk about. Is aliens.
Okay.
Did you see
fuck?
No, this is a hard transition, but it's better than talking about your fucking legs, bro.
Segue.
Did you see the New York Times piece?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't know
I totally missed that.
Yeah, the Pentagon. We might have got some alien craft.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
No, the Pentagon came out.
No.
It's in the New York Times.
That's bullshit.
I wish we had the computer.
That's fucking bullshit.
No, the Pentagon released a statement saying that we have a craft that is not from this planet.
They did do then the classic trick of going, no, when we said we had alien craft, that's not what we meant. Like, they have retracted it, but the guy said we have craft not from this planet. Yeah.
And it was a New York Times article.
They have retracted it.
But everybody knew they were going to retract it. Everybody knew they were going to retract it.
They have an alien. They have an actual alien craft.
That's what they said.
Please tell me it's not literally Area 51.
Of course it is.
Like they never moved it after everyone was camping outside. They're like, no, it's actually there.
All of the conspiracy people are going crazy after this because the New York Times published the article. It was the Pentagon that said it, and I'm like, dude, maybe the aliens are coming in the next 20 or 30 years.
Can you imagine if you were like a scientist that did shit like that and you joined the government or whatever, CIA, and they were like, yeah, we're going to bring you to where the spacecraft is. Like, yo, you got an alien spacecraft? And then they blindfold you, they drive you in a Humvee or something to Area 51. And you're like, yo, you fucking kept it in Area 51?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where else would we put it?
I mean, to be fair, everyone suspects that.
Flying drones down here. Yeah, well.
So what's your opinion?
Is it actually? I think it's fucking bullshit.
Do you think there's no aliens?
I don't think there are aliens. No way. I mean, okay. I obviously aliens
You think
exist.
aliens have ever visited Earth?
No.
Never.
No. Wait,
So-
never? Okay, wait.
Well, no. Okay, so in recorded
Yes.
history, recent. Let's say post Roswell, like mid 1940s.
Okay, follow me on this.
Okay. Yes. Let's get to it.
I think aliens have definitely visited Earth. All right, and here's why. Okay, You got
I wanna
zoom
know
out.
this.
Okay, zoom out a little bit. All right, zoom out a little bit. We're human beings, right? We experience the universe in 4 dimensions, right? So we got 3 dimensions of space, right? And then we got added dimension of time, and we experience that in one axis, right? We only move forward in time, right? Now, who's to say? Now, we don't know that much about reality, really, right? Like, it wasn't that long ago that, like, what was it, like 40 years ago, whatever, quantum theory became a thing,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, suddenly infinite permutations of reality. I might be totally blotching this. This is total bro science, but follow me on this.
That was the discovery of like the neutron. That was in the 1940s. I mean, we didn't even know.
Was it a neutron? No,
Yeah.
it was subatomic particles.
No, that's what created the atomic bomb.
But let's just bro science this shit a little bit. All right? Let's get it. Okay. So who's to say that there isn't a species that experiences reality on multiple other axes of reality, like other dimensions, right? And those dimensions of reality we can't comprehend. We can't actually this is getting the really like stoner physics and all that. But you watch Arrival, right? You ever watch Arrival?
Arrival?
Yeah,
No.
Amy Adams, right? The
No, I
Amy
didn't
Adams
see it.
movie
Oh,
with Hawkeye.
I heard it was really good, but
with Hawkeye.
I didn't see it, but
So
I heard it was good.
Arrival had an interesting premise, right? And if I could spoil it for everybody, but basically it had to do with, an alien species that, it still experiences time, but on both dimensions, or on both axes. It can go forward and backwards. It experiences time as a whole, right? And if it does that, that means it's born, it moves, and it lives, right? But it knows exactly what's going to happen to it, right? Now, who's to say that an alien couldn't, I don't know, experience the entire universe as 3-dimensional universe in one go?
Yeah, because
Now you see where I'm going with this
Yeah.
bro science thing.
Because the problem with aliens, right? The problem, at least in the theory of aliens, as we understand it, with our perceptions of time, is that for
green
anything to
men.
get here,
Yeah.
based whether it's from the nearest star or the nearest inhabitable planet, as far as we know,
Yeah.
it would take way too long, as we understand, how the speed of light even.
Sure, but if
Right.
they could hyperdrive or something, there's all these
Or if they had
Yeah,
an
the
unnaturally
warp drive.
long age, right? This is the other thing. How long do
Okay.
you think it would be
still not enough
before
because
humans could live, let's say 500 years?
if I'm not I might be wrong on this, all right, but I believe that the universe is accelerating outwards, right?
Yeah,
It's
that's the theory.
accelerating, so after the Big Bang, we're all kind of accelerating outwards, which means that there's only a little pocket through which you can do light speed travel, right? For a given amount of time, that you can't get out of that bubble, right? Unless you move faster than the speed of light. Unless you get an FTL drive, right, which is completely theoretical at this point, right?
You could do a wormhole,
Star Trek.
right? Isn't that the
Yeah.
idea? You could go through
Yeah,
a
the wormhole thing, right?
Yeah.
But we have no idea how that works,
Yeah.
right? So if you had little green men, all right, and they figure out FTL drives, right? Sure, they could go anywhere in the universe, right? Hypothetically, let's say they could go anywhere in the universe. The universe is gigantic and possibly infinite, and who's to say that why would they come to Earth?
What if they had unnaturally long life?
Sure, but the universe is 13.8 billion years old.
But let's assume that you could go really fucking fast, but not the speed of light, but really, really fast.
13.8 billion years.
Let's say, yeah, well, I mean, not from the beginning of the Big Bang. I'm talking the nearest inhabitable planet, right? Which, if you came here and you tried in modern jets, let's say it would take you 300 years, whatever, right? I'm just spitballing.
Sure.
Let's say, how long do you think it would be before humans could live 500 years? 1,000 years?
Sure.
Let's say, I mean, whatever, right? Let's pick a
Sure.
crazy number.
Sure.
Let's say in 1,000
Probably
years.
less, man.
Probably less.
Yeah.
Probably less, right?
We'll
Okay.
figure it out. That's
So let's say that, assuming that a fucking meteor doesn't blow us all up,
Yeah.
and that COVID-21 doesn't fucking murder the whole planet.
COVID 30, 20.
Yeah, exactly. Let's assume the
Yeah.
human species lives for another 1,000 years. We've lived hundreds of thousands. Let's
Okay.
assume we live 1,000 more.
All right.
Probably in 1,000 years, humans will figure out a way to live a very long time, much longer than us now, for sure, right? That's probably fair to say,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So let's assume that it's 500 years. Let's assume it's 300 years.
Okay.
We can travel a lot farther. And then if you think, okay, well, of course we're going to be able to get around faster. Of course we're going to have figured out new ways to travel faster, approach closer to the speed of light. I don't know what it'd be. Maybe we can fly fucking 2,000 miles an hour, whatever the number is, right?
How far away do you think the nearest star is? I don't know, by the way.
I don't know either. I wish.
Let's all guess a number.
No,
10.
No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you a range though. It's like a few light years.
Yeah.
So
it's a few
if
light
you
years.
travel at the speed of light, you got, and that's just
Years
one
of-
star.
yeah.
Right. In our little pocket, there are only so many stars, right? Like there is a little bubble and a little part of our galaxy that we can move within, right? Like if we travel at the speed of light, right?
Did you see the?
So we're stuck. We're kind of stuck unless we got the warp drive from Star Trek.
But in
Or-
1,000 years, and you think that's us in 1,000 years. Now imagine a civilization that's 10,000 more years advanced than we are.
Totally possible.
Totally possible.
Totally possible. But then the universe is infinite.
It's totally possible, but not in ways that we understand reality. But then you would never have been able to tell a person that lived through the Renaissance about a fucking iPhone. So I mean,
Totally.
you know what I mean?
Totally.
Like to them, that would be indistinguishable from magic, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
being able to watch porn on your fucking iPhone. Like,
If I explain the
they'd be
shit that I
like,
do for work, like to somebody from the Middle Ages, they'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Really?
Yeah.
Like,
flying.
you program? I don't."
Well, here's one interesting thing to think about, right? Like,
Yeah.
let's assume you're a human from
Okay.
living in the year 1300,
Sure.
right? Like fucking Genghis Khan is murdering all the way across Asia and shit, right?
Yeah,
1300s.
that cool shit. Yeah.
And then you
The
look
good
up in the
times.
air and
Yeah.
you see a Boeing jet flying through.
That's a UFO.
That's a UFO.
That's totally
right?
a UFO.
That was like 500
That's an
years
alien
ago.
craft?
That's a fucking alien craft, 100%. That's an alien craft.
Okay, it's a UFO, but not an alien craft because it's from this Earth.
May as well be alien, and that was 500 years of human evolution.
Okay.
May as well be a totally different thing.
All right.
Like, right? There's something there.
Right.
Did you see the video of I think it was the U.S. Air Force released the video, and the guy was on the commander was on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about they'd filmed the UFO.
Okay.
He was actually he was the pilot in the fighter jet, and they have it's like a sonar thing. I mean, you can see
Yeah.
the aircraft, right?
Yeah.
And the Air Force actually declassified this and said that they have no idea what the fuck it was. And the guy who's a legit, Air Force pilot is
Yeah.
being like, he
Never
chased
seen
it.
anything
He
like that,
saw
yeah.
it close, and then you can track it on his thing. It looks like kind of grainy or whatever,
Yeah.
but he actually saw it with his own eyes, and
Yeah.
then they have the recorded picture of
Yeah.
the sort of grainy bit that they picked it up on the radar, and he was like, dude, this thing was fucking crazy. He
If
was
I-
like, it can move up, down, back, and forward. It can move laterally, not
Yeah,
only
yeah.
forward
I've
propulsion,
seen
right?
that
Like
shit.
from a
I've
jet
seen that
engine.
shit. Yeah.
Then now all of a sudden, there's a lot of alien talk this last year. I feel it, right?
Like getting us ready for something.
Yeah. It's like, the Air Force
Fucking
released that. The
Independence
Pentagon
Day.
released.
Independence Day is gonna happen next year, man.
Dude, 2020 is a trip, man. I'll tell you what.
2021, we're gonna have Independence Day. We're gonna have like the fucking beam that comes down that actually obliterates like a major city. All that shit. We're gonna have like Will Smith.
And I'm telling you what's going to happen.
Yeah.
The second they announce Khabib Ferguson, boom.
The world ends.
invasion.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't say that.
Exactly.
Don't
The
say
second
that.
they
I don't
announce
want
the
that.
world
I
ends.
don't want
That's
that
when the aliens
fucking
show
fight.
up.
I don't want that fucking fight ever announced again.
Dude.
It's going to end us all.
Yeah.
Fucking disappointment.
That's when the aliens enslave us all.
Yeah. That's when it's all gone. You know what I'm saying? They announced it the fifth time, and then the universe ends.
I know, dude.
God.
So what do you think? Like, because it's weird. 2020 is probably one of the the craziest years in recent memory, right?
Sure.
What do you think will be the defining thing of the next decade? Like 10 years from now, right? Like, well, like, when we had the moon landing, we had the internet, the iPhone. Like, what do you think if you had to guess? You look through your little little magic.
No, man,
what's
probably
that thing
land on
called?
Mars.
The magic land.
I mean, that's going to happen, right?
Yeah,
There's now a
maybe-
race.
maybe.
Abu Dhabi, China, and the U.S. all sent
In 10 years,
craft to
maybe?
Mars,
Why not?
right? Within the last 2 weeks.
Space race. There's a new space
Isn't that
race.
crazy?
It's infancy, kind of.
It was China, Abu Dhabi, and U.S., right?
Yep. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't actually been following it, but I'm pretty sure that we'll land on Mars. Like,
Well, the
put
U.S.
humans
just
on
launched
Mars.
theirs like yesterday.
Yeah,
or
but
2 days
that's
ago.
just a robot, right?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was Abu Dhabi or Dubai, and then China also launched one, all within 2 weeks of each other.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
But to get from that to like a full payload with like the necessary stuff from Mars, that's a different story, right?
Well,
like
and
you
Tesla's
need
still
some-
talking about SpaceX is still
SpaceX.
talking about doing it, right?
Yeah,
Have you
and
seen-
I think they will. I think they
the
will.
show, oh god, it's on Apple TV.
Yeah.
First Man or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's brilliant. The premise of that is that the space race America lost the space
Yeah.
race, and then the space race never finished.
Yeah.
So imagine how far we'd be now if we'd have just kept going.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
instead of picking up from zero again.
Yeah, if it hadn't been like, okay, we won space. Like if they had just been like, okay, let's continue on this path, then
They had that political drive almost, right? Where they were like, yo, this is our
Nationwide.
nationwide pride thing.
because you
right?
need an adversary.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
once you dominate that sphere, this is when it turns into a monopoly
Like
and
we
gets
gotta
corrupt and
win
starts
this, right? But now
Exactly.
that driver needs to be economics, right?
Yeah,
It
that's
needs
why
to
we
be
have
like-
it now, because everybody
yeah.
wants that fucking asteroid metal, those precious
Now-
metals. Everybody wants that shit. They're like, oh, unlimited resources
Hold
in
up. We
space.
still don't need those metals though, because we can still get them from here.
Yeah, let's just
Right?
destroy the Earth.
We're only
Definitely. We'll never run out. I mean,
It's
this isn't a finite amount of space or anything.
we will last for a while though, right? Like, okay, let's say hypothetically if nuclear fusion never becomes a thing, right? We got a lot of raw material for nuclear fusion.
But
like,
we won't have any
we're
more polar
good.
bears, Maher. That's
What?
the problem. We won't have any more polar bears.
We will not have polar bears, but you know what? Polar bears are kind of lame
Fuck
anyway.
polar bears.
Fuck.
Am I right?
They're only the
I
biggest
right?
bear, right? They're only the biggest bear.
Yeah, fuck
right?
them. We don't need
They're only
them anymore.
like gigantic and can like totally take out a silverback gorilla. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I guess
totally
it's-
destroy it.
It's slightly better press for Apple though, if like they're getting their minerals from robots on Mars rather than children in Africa. Like that plays better.
Fair.
You gotta ship it all the way back though. What you gonna do? Like, I don't know, have a nuclear bomb and just like, you can't do
Well,
that.
that's-
It's just not feasible.
that's one of the
You
other
gotta
things
have a
about-
society on Mars. You gotta have an entire
You need
planet.
humans.
You need humans on Mars,
you gotta
right? And then it
terraform,
means
you
you gotta
gotta do all
move
that
people
shit.
on Mars, and then you got all the science, sci-fi shit.
Well, they still say
that
they're going to
people
do it.
talk about,
SpaceX
you know?
still says they're going to do it.
I think it'll be more of like I think in 10 years, within the next decade, there's not going to be any real reason to go, right? But I think that possibly someone will do it. There'll be enough drive or
They have to.
interest or
There's
something.
nowhere else to go right now.
Yeah.
If you want to explore space, like especially as humans, there's nowhere else to go right now.
Why do you want to explore space?
Because that's what people do, dog. That's what
Really?
we do.
Do we?
Although that does seem like a horror movie waiting to happen. Like
okay,
the-
we explored when it made sense, like economically, right? You know, like Christopher Columbus getting on that boat and all that, right? Like, hey, let's bring the white people to a new continent, right? That was totally like economics,
But
right?
Elon seems like he's a weird dude. I think he's
His whole drive is
I think he's
economics.
down to
though.
just-
You
yeah, for
listen to the
sure.
guy, right? Like
Tesla coming to
Tesla,
Singapore pretty soon.
SpaceX. That's all based on disrupting a market, right? And if anything, like this whole thing about like sending people to Mars and all that, that's talk to build up interest, right?
Yeah, well, it
To
did.
Yep,
It did.
totally did.
He's the
It
only
got
one
me
that
on
brought it
board.
to the table in like the last 10 years, and now all of a sudden there's 3 fucking things on the way to Mars right now.
I enjoy Elon Musk. I enjoy
Me too.
him.
Me
I mean,
too.
he's totally like this
I enjoy him
neoliberal
too.
capitalist motherfucker.
But
and
he's
I
like
love
also
the guy.
like kind of Aspergery and weird. Like he's just
Super weird.
You know what I mean?
Possibly evil. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
He
come
could go
on.
either way still. You know what I mean?
Come on, you a billionaire, man. You a billionaire, man. Come on. You run 2 companies of that size or that successful. You crazy.
Yeah, he's
You're not a normal person.
he's
You know what I mean?
he's definitely not normal.
You're,
There's
you're,
no part
you're
about him.
definitely a little bit sociopathic. You know, they did this
He
study
says some
where-
weird shit sometimes too. Elon.
constantly.
Yeah,
You know, there's
yeah.
no way a person like that is normal.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure like if you sat down with the guy, like he might appear normal for a little bit. You really got to know him.
Yeah, the
But
only way
what do I
anybody
know?
knows anything about him is from him like fake smoking weed on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah, he was not smoking weed.
No, he didn't even inhale that shit. And
Not that I
still
know anything about
And still
that.
their stock went down. And still their stock went down
Did it?
for a minute, and then it went
Yeah,
higher
it
than ever.
just rebounded, right?
Yeah.
Like people like that stuff. You know, that's branding right there.
Oh yeah,
That's
I mean,
totally branding.
for both of them.
Yeah,
Like
you know, and
yeah,
that's a
absolutely.
smart move.
Totally, that was totally a smart move, and that's why he went on the second time when his like PR was kind of bad.
Yeah.
After he said some fucked up shit, I can't remember what he said,
Yeah.
but yeah, he was kind of at a low point PR wise. Boom, show up on Rogan again, right back up.
What did he do?
He
Let me
knows what he's
guess.
doing.
He said that shit about his stock price being like too high. I think that was it.
He said
might be
something. I
wrong.
can't remember. It was a few months ago. But
Yeah, but he's constantly getting into stuff like that, right? And
Yeah.
for a while, everyone was like, "Well, he's doing too much cocaine or whatever, right? Like, or he's having a breakdown." But no, he's just playing the game.
Yeah.
He's playing the PR game, and he's trying to massage his way up. You know, I think he's genius at it.
Yeah, me
you
too.
know?
I'm glad there's someone like him out there, as long as he doesn't like doom us all. Like
Doom us all.
as long as he doesn't
He
like
gets
create
into he gets into
Skynet.
killer robots
Yeah,
and shit,
exactly.
you know, like and starts building nukes. Like, hey, let's disrupt the nuke market. Let's
This one-
disrupt.
This one's way better.
Yeah,
Well, and he's
you know?
also getting into that artificial intelligence sphere too with his Neuralink
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
I mean, what the hell is that going to be like?
Was Neuralink artificial intelligence or
Well, I mean, that's
a computer interface, so brain.
Yeah, it's like a
machine interfacing.
I mean, who knows? Dude?
Interesting stuff, you know.
Let's get very
Why
specific
not?
with our extreme knowledge in this particular subject, and then
Neuralink?
enlighten everybody on how much we know about fucking Neuralink and artificial intelligence and everything else. But it's gonna be weird, man. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so
Sure.
we're probably like breeding age, I would say, right?
I'm breathing age.
We're-
Yeah,
we're-
sure.
we're
My
about
balls
that.
still work. My
You
balls
already
still
have. He's already
You've already done
past
that?
breeding
Done my
age.
part.
Your balls have worked.
Now,
Yeah.
if now, assuming
done
we
their
have
job.
kids, what do you think their world will look like when they are our age?
I think
It's
going to
be
super
similar
weird.
but very different, I feel like.
I think that's going to be. I don't think I'll be able to relate. Like, if I had children right now, I think in 10 years I won't be able to relate to them that well. I have to really try.
You'll be like that awkward. You'll be like our parents thinking that like hip hop music is going to turn us to indie gangsters or something.
Sure. Yeah, but like different, you know? Like, I never think that of any music, even though I hate EDM and shit, right? But, like,
You don't think it's
EDM's not
poisoning
music.
the-
EDM's not music. It is totally
those
poisoning
guys
people.
riding around on the scooters blasting their fucking shitty techno EDM
Fucking
outside?
kids these days with their fucking bullshit ass music that's all like commercialized, you know. Like, to be fair, I listen to commercial music, you know. Britney Spears is not that much different. Okay, anyway, I think that I don't think I'd be able to. I think I would have to try really hard to like relate to my kids.
It's
think
going
I
to
have
be
open
mostly
my head.
tech, I feel like, right? That like I feel like
Social media.
Social
Media is such a big part, and I don't think it's going to die. And I think that you're gonna, my kids are gonna be, people that are born now are gonna be grow up in a time where human interaction, a huge part of human interaction occurs over social media, online.
Yeah.
Forget social media, online,
Yeah.
right? Actually, and then with the added element of social media, right? Like my late teens, my early teens onwards was all on forums, right? I had the internet. I spent time on forums. I spent time on really spotty forums.
But you turned out all right. I mean, it's
I?
going to be their, it's going to be their version of that. But like yours was forums, maybe theirs would be
It's
jerking off in
different,
an
though.
Oculus or
It's
whatever.
different, though.
You
It's
know, we had to
different, though.
look at a magazine
Forums
when we were young.
Forums
Now
had moderators. Forums had topics. Like Reddit is not the same as Facebook. It's not the same
see,
as
I feel
TikTok
your old age
or
coming out
whatever.
now. As you're talking to me about this, I'm like, you
No,
old
because
son
there
of
are
a bitch, when you already-
there are algorithms on YouTube and Facebook and even Google, right? That pump things to your eyeballs, right? Based on your preferences and based on certain things, right? And those algorithms are, for the most part, black box, right? And those algorithms change the dynamic of that stuff, right? Like I had forums. Like I had to go and seek those forums. I had to go and find out that stuff,
To
right?
be fair, the early days of the internet, there was some fucked up shit on there. It was not very controlled. You could just
Not
get
control at all.
anything. Like
Not control law. And
I don't see it nearly as much fucked up shit on the internet now as I did in like the early 2000s.
When no one had a clue what
Are
it
you
was or
looking
how
for it?
worked.
I mean, dude, I was a teenager. Of course,
Are
I'm
you
like,
looking for it? If
yeah,
you look
man.
for it now, I can
You
tell
always-
you can see some fucked up shit.
Oh, I'm sure if you want, if you go out of your way to find. But I think the most interesting and problematic part
Yeah.
of all of that specifically would be the social media because it does present an image to you of how young people think people should communicate and how they should be perceived, and this idea of like an online persona, an online personality.
stuff.
And then everything in bite-sized bits, like how you consume and how people speak to each other, except for some avenues that pop up, like long-form podcasts, for example, or listening to lectures or anything like that, right? This is why this is a counterbalance, in my opinion. Like long-form discussions like this podcast, that's the kind of thing that the world needs, I feel like, which is why I wanted to have one. Because there's not a single person that's ever walked in here to do this podcast that has sat down and talked to anybody without checking their phone, except for me in their life. Within the last 10 years. Everybody can never have a conversation where they just sit and talk like you and I are in their normal life today.
And not check
their
their phone.
wives. I'll sit with people and they're like, I haven't talked to my wife like that. I haven't talked to my friends like, when was the last time you sat down with your girlfriend
All the time.
for an hour and a half
All the
and
time.
never check your phone?
All the time. You
not
gotta
once.
turn that shit
not
off
watching
sometimes.
TV, not like, and then having a casual.
All done.
Sat face to face.
If I go out, I'm gonna spend money on dinner. You know what I'm saying?
You don't look at your phone once.
If we're gonna spend over $20 on dinner, on a meal, right? No, I'm not gonna check my phone. You know,
Oh, you're a rare
I'm gonna
one.
wait for her to go to the bathroom, sure.
Then you
right?
check your phone.
Why not?
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Gotta have
fair,
something.
right? Everyone does that, right? But yeah, I mean, while you're having conversation, what's the point? You know?
Okay, so your girlfriend, we'll give you that one. Who else? Is there any others?
And I got plenty of
Hour
friends that
and
do
a
that.
half.
I got plenty of friends that check their phone. You know what? I got friends that don't. You know, I've been just yesterday. I was at dinner with two awesome people, and you know, at their place, and they didn't check their phone once till the end.
I love those
You know?
people. I have like a couple friends.
They still
when I
exist.
hang out with them,
Yeah.
they never check their phones, and it's the best.
They
I
still
love
exist,
those people.
You know, like you have to disconnect.
Yeah.
You know, because you know the world that we live in now we are inundated. It's weird because back when we were growing up, I think, right, when we were like boys, right, or whatever, right, we didn't have information. We didn't have that noise. You had to go and search that stuff out, right?
Yeah.
Seek it, right? You had to search information, look for information, right?
It wasn't just like being inundated. Into
You remember
your
going
brain.
to a library?
Yeah.
You remember going to a library and finding a book about something. And at some point in our lives, right, we grew up without internet for a portion.
Yeah.
Like we were that generation.
We're the transitional generation.
Yeah, we're kind of that transitional, like early millennial type generation, right?
Yeah.
And we had to go at some point to a library and find a book about something, right? And now we have the opposite problem where we have so much information
And it's
and
right
so much BS,
there. There's
right?
no destination that we have to go to access that
Yeah.
information. It's just here, and it's usually going to be a bite-sized surface bit of information.
It's bullshit.
As opposed to an actual nuance.
It's like you
It's
know,
bullshit.
it's like the white belt that wants to learn every single thing about jiu-jitsu, but doesn't want to learn anything well.
They want to learn everything by watching YouTube videos.
They want to learn the Torianda. They want to learn the fucking backstab all at the same time. They want to learn the pressure passing, but they're not good at anything, so they suck. You know what I'm saying? They just don't know how to express themselves because they don't deep dive, right?
Yeah, they don't deep dive.
And if you want to know something, you got to deep dive. You got to like
I
really
do
get
feel
into it.
also that it's a little bit of a lack of focus because, for example, I have like two kinds of people that come into the gym. I've got the basically the older parents,
Okay.
the guys in their like 30s, 40s, like me and Jake
Yeah.
and you, and
Okay.
then they're good, right? They
Yeah.
can turn it off or whatever.
Sure.
And then I've got the younger crew,
Yeah.
and these are the guys that like every time we're on the mats,
Yeah.
as soon as the round is over, they're over there checking their phone.
Yeah.
Then they come back and they train as soon as there's a water break, anytime they have, they're over there. Okay, it's like, man, you're missing out on so much by just taking these little interactions that you could have with somebody face to face for
Yeah.
granted.
Yeah.
It's like, where are you going? Who are you talking to right now? They'll be there in 20, 30 minutes when we're done with class. It's like, okay, learn this technique. As soon as water break, boom. Okay, coming back here. If some people are over here training, they'll slip off, not say anything, and just check that. I'm like, oh, God.
I consider that
I need
bad.
you to focus
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit. Like, I'm not going to tell you you can't do it. I'm not going to ban phones or anything.
Yeah.
You're a fucking adult.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, man, just turn it off for a little bit.
I consider it a bad habit. I consider it an indicator of like a symptom of like something of a lack of focus.
Yeah.
You know, not being in the moment. Like for all I know, these people are able to transition, but I can't. You know, if I'm able to, like if I'm checking my phone on the side, I am distracted and I'm not having a real conversation with people.
Yeah.
I'm not having a face to face, right? You know, if I was to like, I can't multitask like that, you know? I don't know if anyone can. Maybe there are people that can, but I can't.
No,
you know?
you can't,
So
man. There's a certain amount of attention that
You know?
people, of course, not only want but need. If I'm
Yeah.
trying to talk to you
Yeah.
and you're checking your phone,
Yeah.
you're not giving me the attention that I should have as a human that's
Yeah.
talking to another human with mutual interest.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if you're going to split your attention between me and someone else when I'm trying to give you my full focus, it's like,
Yeah.
why the fuck would I even talk to you?
I don't know.
It's disrespectful. Like, I mean, I'm not going to hate you, but I'm just not going to want to talk to you if you're trying to split your attention between me and this person and this person and this person. And you can't handle it for like an hour, like instead of.
It's how people communicate now, though, right? Because you know,
But
it's
it's
almost
shallow,
like
right? It's shallow communication.
Yeah, but it's shallow communication, and it's parallel communication. There, you're trying to spread out your attention into a few different realms, right, at the same time. I don't know if that's the way I want to like conduct myself in life because it just seems stressful. For
Yeah.
me, I got anxiety, man. You know, like I can't do that, right? Like
But I feel like that would induce anxiety.
it makes me anxious.
Yeah, exactly.
It induces it.
What reduces anxiety is, well, like exercising like this, connecting with people. We're social creatures. And this is where it gets weird, right? Because some aspect of technology that we use is
Yeah.
social.
Yeah.
Right? Like dating is all on the smartphone now. And then people chat with their friends all the time. So as humans that are inherently social by our nature,
Yeah.
you get some sort of reward from being attached to your device, but at the same time, we deeply need. My reason for wanting to start the podcast was because I lacked this in my life, and when I saw other people that did podcasts that had long form conversations with people and talked about fucking aliens and talked about shaving their butt crack, and all the nonsense that we talk about, waxing their butt crack. It's like I felt drawn to that because I felt like I wasn't getting it in my life, and I can't sit down when I have a friend and be like, dude, talk to me uninterrupted for an hour and a half. Who does that?
Yeah, let's just have a conversation for a long time.
Yeah, in like 20 minutes, cool. Like I have friends where I can go hang out with them and stuff, but I can't be like, hey, as a friend, I really would like to just stare at you for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and they'd be like, okay. But we do a podcast together. I get cool, interesting people on. The format is set. You know what I mean?
So when you're at a party, right? Like there's certain types of parties, right? You go some of them and it's loud. You know what I mean? And everyone's kind of like talking over each other, and you're getting a lot of like shallow interactions in bite-sized forums, right? And then there's other types of parties a little bit quieter, and you can actually connect with people, right? And personally, I like the latter, right? I like sitting down and just kind of having like a face-to-face and just kind of like learning stuff about people a little bit, right? That's that intellectual stimulation, right? But not everyone's like that, right? Some people, maybe they can't, or maybe they don't. I don't know. Maybe it's just stupid.
It's a skill to build, though. I mean, that's true. But I feel like if you really value somebody and you have their general interests in heart, there's a certain amount of attention that they should get if you're talking to them, right? Like, you owe somebody, like, to be, like, listening and to be courteous and to, like, when you and I are talking to each other, we're actually interested in what the other person's saying. I'm not waiting for my turn to talk. Right? I'm not sitting here in my head while you're talking, like, thinking of a million things. You know exactly the type of person
that doesn't listen.
Exactly. So, like, when I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm genuinely curious about what you have to say. I'm trying to, like, think about a response. You can tell I'm listening to you, and I can tell you're listening to me. We're not just, like, waiting for our turn to speak. And so much of conversations in our day-to-day are either with broken attention, or you're like, so you're doing this, it's work, it's here, it's very sporadic, and it lacks that sort of, and people in general, I feel like, don't get enough of that focused, genuine attention and like long form conversation where you can connect like that.
I wonder, like, if that's one thing, like if I had children today, right? Like if that's one thing that they would lack, right? Now, I learned the art of conversation very late. Like, I was a very awkward person growing up. I don't know if you can tell, right?
You and me both, dude.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just mildly autistic, right?
But I feel like we're both slightly introverted in our like personal lives.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe, yeah. But you know what? I think that's more common than people give them credit for. I think even extrovert people have moments of introversion, right?
Yeah, everybody's on both, elements of both, right?
And everyone's an extrovert in the right situation.
Sure.
Right? But I feel like, so I learned it late. I learned how to talk to someone, like, and actually have a back and forth.
Where do you think you picked up those skills? Was it in gym? Was it like college? What is it? You know, I mean, I wonder where you think you built those skills.
That's interesting. From. That's an interesting question. I never thought of that. It definitely wasn't college.
Was or was not?
It was not. It was not college. It was not college. It was not national service. I was super awkward all the way. You know what? Fuck it, jiu-jitsu.
Probably, right?
Probably jiu-jitsu.
That's where the most
because I exposed like me to that, right? Like jiu-jitsu, like when I got my black belt, like I like that. You know, you give a speech, right? Whatever, right? You give a black belt speech, and that's one thing I said. Like, like jiu-jitsu. The biggest thing jiu-jitsu ever gave me was like just learning how to interact with people. Yeah. Like rolling with someone tells you a lot about someone too, right? You know, like you can't hide, you know. I think Joe Rogan said that in his little speech, right? His little thing. But you can't actually hide, right? But then you interact with people at the same time, right? And jiu-jitsu exposes you to that, right? And maybe that's probably where it started, at least, you know? Like, it kind of gives you that social interactions, and you build on top of that. And then at some point, you're just not that awkward of a person anymore, right? And you can have a conversation like this, you know, the camera is pointing at you and shit, and you don't bother about it. You're not, like, awkward and weird and freaked out, you know?
Yeah, you build those skills. And there's something to be said about the environment, I think, as well. Because, like, the reason why, I mean, you know, I tried various jobs growing up. When I was college age, you try to figure out what you're going to do with your life. Like, all of that kind of stuff. And at that time, it seemed to me like doing jiu-jitsu was crazy. I mean, it wasn't even an industry yet.
Yeah.
Right? MMA hadn't popped. Like there weren't jiu-jitsu gyms on every fucking corner back then. And so it seemed to me like it wasn't even a possible job. But that was the environment that I felt the most welcomed in. Like when I first walked into a jiu-jitsu gym, that was the first time I'd like trained with adults. I mean, I'm like 16 years old, right? And then I go into an adult class. And those other adults saw me as a peer, and they were genuinely curious in improving me as a human. Right, so they're teaching me stuff. They're communicating with me. And the first time that you are spoken to like an adult, you start to kind of feel like one, and you start to try to act like one. And it's like anything, you fake it till you make it, right?
You have a friend that's 50 years old. You have a friend that's like 20 years, 30 years older than you, right? Like, you know, even as a young person, that means a lot.
It's so important. Even yesterday, right? We had a boxing class or whatever. There was a 16-year-old kid in the class, and then there was like a 36-year-old in the class. I put them together in a group, and you know, I think the young kid doesn't appreciate it now. But these are little important things. Like he's not like thinking, "Oh, I'm going to take care of you." Okay. He's like, they're on the same level, right? They're both still beginners. They're both literally the same technical level.
And when he hits 17, he'll be good. Like he'll get much better, and then like he'll teach someone that's like a granddad or something, right?
Exactly.
You know, and that's totally a possibility. And he has to interact with that person with a different dynamic, right? And martial arts exposes you to those scenarios, right? And removes a lot of the not taboos, but a lot of the barriers that you would have, those mental barriers that you would have had, right? You know, until I started martial arts training, right? Like in like jiu-jitsu training, right? I never, like I did karate, but it was like kiddie karate, right? Like you had peers that were your age, right? Until I did this, that was never a possibility, right? Like I had this thing in my head of like, you know, the older people, you know, like, not they're not peers. Right? Like somehow there's a thing to the age
something
gap.
between you, right? There's a barrier, like you said.
But exposing yourself to those situations, right? And trust me, like I was fucking awkward when I started. You know, like you can ask some people, like maybe there's some people watching now that fucking know about that.
In high school or something, I was like a little alien. Like it was so weird. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
But I think
I was a horrible person in high school, man.
Of course, right.
I was a horrible person.
Yourself,
just evil, evil person, like bad. I was a bad person. I was evil. I was a bad person.
You know, you're naive and you're young to things of the world, and your interests are so much more immediate, and you're so much more concerned with gratification than anything long term, right? And that's one thing that martial arts will teach you, is that it's a long term goal. And when you're 16, 17, 18 years old, you are not thinking about, most people aren't thinking about where they're going to be in 10 years, what skills they're going to develop. They're thinking about hanging out with their friends, instant gratification. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? I want to do this thing. I'm going to go out hang out with these people. Like that. All it is like, I want this.
I want
today.
This. No empathy. No empathy. You're only thinking about your little bubble and whatever happens, what it means to you, right? Instead of what it means to people, like everything, right? You know, you can't zoom out, right? I don't know if jiu-jitsu taught me how to do that, right? But definitely put me on that path, at least, right? For me, at least.
The other thing about it that makes it interesting also is that jiu-jitsu is one of those things, it's one of those physical activities that demands your attention. You can't be fucked off somewhere else, right? You can't be thinking about your argument with your wife. You can't be like, you can't use your phone when you're being strangled.
It's meditation.
It's a meditation. And of course you can hit the flow state, and like any physical activity, when you reach a certain level of proficiency, can get you there. Playing guitar, rock climbing, jogging, lifting weights, jiu-jitsu, any fucking activity that you want can get you to that place, but there's something about the brain-body connection that can get you to that place. And for martial arts, it demands that you interact with people. So you build those skills, and it doesn't allow you to split your focus into all these different things. That's why people get catharsis. That's why they feel great after training, because for a little bit of time, they were focused on this thing. They got to hit that flow state, and all of their problems washed away because for that minute, it demanded all of their attention.
So I lift weights too, and while lifting weights, I consider it a form of meditation, right? Like I've never hit a flow state. I've never had that type of catharsis from just lifting weights. It is an awesome pursuit, but jiu-jitsu is the only place, because of the mental, like so far, maybe you can get it with chess and shit, right? But because you're sparring with another person, you spar mentally as well, right? You hit that flow state with jiu-jitsu because of the complexity of it, right? the different permutations, right? You are playing literally multi-dimensional chess when you practice jiu-jitsu, when you spar, right? It's like you're dealing with both tactics on the macro level and the micro level, right? You're like, where do I put my fucking hand, right? Everywhere from that to what should I hit him with? What guard pass should I try? What posture should I adopt, right? That all happens, right? So jiu-jitsu is the only place so far, as far as my hobby are concerned, where I've hit that catharsis, that type of flow state. Right.
And then after it's done, it's just like relief of the soul, right? As soon as you get done with a hard sparring session, you have like all this shit going on in your life. You got all these problems, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as like you get the good rolls, by the time you're done, you're just like, it's like your soul's exhaling.
Actually, as far as hobbies, I've hit that flow state with one other thing, and that's video games.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The time can melt away with video games for sure. You can all of a sudden have gone 3 to 4 hours. It's 3 a.m. and you're like, what have I done?
So like people like have really played video games, like proper gamers that just go nuts with that stuff, right? And like really want to get good at a game, right? Like I've been playing Doom, the new Doom game.
Oh yeah.
Doom
How is it?
Eternal.
How is it?
It's fucking amazing.
I haven't
right?
played it yet.
It's like, so it's like the original Doom games if they were like way better games. Let's put it that way. It's like
I played the 2016 one. I played the earlier iteration.
It makes 2016 just play like shit. 2016 is a piece of garbage compared to Doom. No,
compared to the
I love 2016. Doom Eternal is way better than 2016.
It is kind of flowy because you're just like always like sliding, flying over here. Things are coming at you. You're shooting that. You're always in motion.
The line that I've so you can play 2016 with just a super shotgun, right?
Yeah.
And you get to go. Right? You cannot play Doom Eternal with just the super shotgun. You have to learn how to use everything. And in that respect, it's a bit like a fighting game, right? But because they add all the complexity to it, right? They add all this depth. And you have to, and it forces you, like especially on the hardest difficulties, right?
Are you one of those guys that smashes up the difficulty and then just fucking grinds?
Yo, man, you know it.
I can't do that.
I'll
kill myself, dude.
Easy.
I would literally just shoot myself if I had to do that. I'm not one of those guys.
You gotta try it. You gotta try the harder difficulties. Wait till it's on sale and go get it and give it a shot.
What are you playing it on?
Nightmare.
No, I mean, which platform?
Come on.
PC?
Come on. Like I'm gonna play on the PS4.
You're so
like
Singaporean,
I'm a.
You're so Singaporean.
Singaporeans play that shit on PS4 now.
Barely, dude.
All my friends are like on.
They're all
on
PC games. Well, relative to America, I think it's because the internet connections here are much better, and they always have been. I'm from rural America, right? Like there's no online gaming, there's no PC gaming. Like you get a console in single player mode, and you can fucking like it. That's all you're gonna get.
Okay, fair enough.
I've been playing that Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh shit, is that good?
Yeah, it's good, man. Samurai. It's like an Akira Kurosawa video game.
It has elements of Dark Souls, right?
Yeah.
And like I think like Doom Eternal, kind of like that. It's a little bit like Dark Souls, right? It's a little bit like, hey, you gotta wait for. There's even a character.
You gotta grind, right? It's extreme difficulty. You gotta like master it.
Figure
you gotta
it
get
out.
good.
Yeah.
Isn't that the meme?
You have to look at the character. Oh, I got him now with that. You know, that's what you gotta do.
Yeah, right. Ghost of Tsushima is kind of like that. It's like you have all these 4 different enemy types, right? You'll have the swords, and you'll have the shields, and then you'll have the brutes, and then you'll have the the lance guys.
Yeah.
And then you unlock different stances that you could pretty much only use to beat those types. So you have to know like, oh, this guy's coming, so I'm here, and then this guy will attack, and you got to switch stances, and like, so you have to know your enemy type. You have to know exactly which stance is the best use for that enemy type, and then
complexities, layers.
Yeah, the complexity is
right?
layered. Yeah. But it's good, man. It's like, do you ever watch any Akira Kurosawa films, Japanese samurai?
Honestly, I've only ever watched one, and that was the. Wait, is that true? Yeah, sure. The one that they made the western out of, the Seven Samurai.
Oh yeah.
Seven Samurai.
Yeah. What was the other one he did that was really really big?
Zatiochi, or did he do Zatiochi? That wasn't. No, he didn't do Zatiochi.
God damn it.
Or maybe he did. I don't know. Zatiochi, the Blind Samurai.
I can't remember. I got it right on the tip of my fucking tongue. Anyway,
okay.
Point is, it's pretty cool. It's got this. You can even put it on Kurosawa mode, which is like black and white, grainy, and it'll have like the old showdown where like they pop the fucking sword, and then you just single slash, you just like wreck people in half.
The whole like thing with their thumb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
the
we
big
ready.
round hat and the samurai armor standing across each other, and it's like in a field of lotuses, and you know what I mean.
Would an actual samurai battle last that long though?
They don't. They're not. It doesn't happen very long.
Like that, right?
You can instant kill like pretty much everything, and you can be killed too in like just a few hits.
And like you're not gonna block. Like probably just gonna go up to them and hit that jiu-jitsu, right? That throw.
Yeah.
You know, you throw them to the fucking floor.
Isn't
If
it
a
weird
guy
to
has
think about
armor,
that?
it's over.
Like
you know?
old combat used to be done instantly.
Yeah.
Like when they would have, pre-industrial revolution, when they would have war, like before muskets and shit, like where people would just stand across the field from each other. They would have like 10,000 here, 10,000 here, and then they just fucking crash on each other. And then like 40 minutes later, like everybody's dead, and like
Oh, you mean
that's
like-
it. Even at swords, bows, whatever. But like they would just line up across the field from each other.
They would have
stare
to
at each
fight
other.
till they got exhausted. It wouldn't even last 40 minutes because,
Yeah.
like, is your gas tank gonna last 40 minutes?
Exactly.
Is yours? You run the MMA
That
gym.
was
You
it.
condition.
Now we take their territory. And then
You're
we
not
just-
gonna last 40 minutes. Nobody's gonna fight to the death
Yeah,
with multiple
that's
people.
true. How long can you last in like an old battlefield, like with a sword and shield?
But
I mean, a fight is 15 minutes, and by the end of a fight, you're fucking dead, and you don't get a 1 minute break when you're on the battlefield.
Here's the other thing. Like back then, were people actually like
They're
conditioned?
drunk all the time. They're farmers and like
yeah, you didn't even have fucking
peasants
water.
and
You had to drink
They
beer
all have
to get
dysentery and
hydrated.
shit. They're all like infected with
Ain't
everything.
nobody running intervals. You know, there were
Yeah,
no
they're not-
hill sprints.
Hill sprints and shit. Yeah, exactly.
Motherfuckers didn't go to the gym and they have barbell
They're all
and shit. Like,
emaciated because they haven't eaten in 3 days.
it's like, hey man, I'm lifting this rock. What the fuck are you lifting
Why are
that
you
rock
wasting
for?
your
man?
energy doing that?
Exactly. We're still like agricultural society.
And they're all little too. They're all like 5 foot
Skinny
tall,
fuckers.
little skinny things because they don't have any nutrients.
You have no gas tank, so you
Yeah.
could probably last 10 minutes before your lungs
That's
give
true. I
out.
hadn't really thought about
There
how
was some-
different that would be.
Yeah.
I think I'm right in saying that like there were some crazy ones, like the Battle of Hastings lasted all day because the armies
Oh.
were just.
Well, if you have a lot of
run
look
at
like-
each other, crash into each other, run back.
Is that-
have a breather?
But then if you have
That would
reinforcements,
make sense, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
if you have reinforcements too, like if you have enough troops, you
Yeah.
can extend that shit for like maybe a day.
You could kind of
But then you think of like
that
World
makes
War
sense.
II and
right?
shit going on for 5 fucking years, right? Like
Yeah, but World War II, you're just like you're chilling in the. Okay, you're not chilling.
you're just hanging
suff-
out, sipping tea. You know?
As Yoda would say, you're suffering in a trench somewhere. You know,
Yeah.
just
Well,
kind of like,
World War I,
oh
that
my god, I
was-
got dysentery. I'm shitting myself.
Yeah, World War One was the most
Yeah.
brutal, I think.
Yeah, that's where people
The trench
actually
war,
died in the
yeah,
trench.
that was rough.
I don't want that in my life. You know, like
Yeah.
that's the nightmare, isn't it? Right? That's nightmare mode.
Yeah, because that's when they first of all, that's when there were enough people
Yep.
that they could continually keep supplying people, so they could really drag it out. And then that was when they had started discovering like automatic weapons and mustard gas and all of these
And for
horrific
what?
airplanes and tanks and
Imagine being the French at Agincourt. That was a
Yeah.
all-day battle, and the English archers were up
Yeah.
on a hill, and the French just tried running up this hill all day, and were just like arrows raining down on them. It was like a mass slaughter.
What the fuck?
And at some point, surely someone should have gone, "Oh, we can't go up there."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll
they-
figure something else
Yeah,
out.
this is a really bad idea.
Let's engineer a solution to this.
Yeah.
Like maybe we could siege them for a little while, or
Yeah.
figure out some kind of logistics situation. Maybe we could send them some onions, like in the
Yeah.
middle of the night, Trojan. But
Well,
they're all
the-
like poisoned with lead. I don't know.
Keep running up the hill, boys.
well, in the beginning of World War One, because
Yeah.
before World War One, the biggest war most recently was like the Napoleonic Wars, right?
Okay.
And in the Napoleonic Wars, they
Yeah.
still were on horseback with sabers and like
Okay.
muskets and shit. And then at the beginning of World War One, like the French went in,
Yeah.
they would still be on horseback. They would
Yeah.
still have their fucking sabers.
Yeah.
They would have their bright blue little things, and they
Oh,
would run out to
man.
German lines and get mowed down by this thing they discovered called the fucking machine gun.
Yes.
Right? So they're in like bright tunics with their sabers clipped to their
Machine
sides.
guns or machine
Well,
guns.
yeah, I mean the early versions of
All
that,
right, then.
right? But thinking that they
Crank
could just
guns.
charge the
Ah.
line and then all of a sudden getting mowed down
Rolled
by
down
this
with
thing.
balls
Yeah,
by ball bearings.
because that was
Fired
right
out
when the
muzzles.
technological curve started to happen and they started to really be
Yeah,
able to
that
get
good
automatic
shit.
weapons right at the beginning of World War One.
I don't know. I think war is retarded. I think
Yeah.
war. I can't use that word.
Hey,
Anyway.
hey,
Oh
hey,
no!
how dare you?
Retarded.
What was that word?
I refuse to change.
See? And when you have a young kid and
I
you say
used
that,
it-
she's going to be like, Dad, you're so old.
I used it as a teenager, man. I don't want to let go of it. I like the word.
Words are intent. If your intent is pure, then like I grew up in the Christian areas of
Sure,
America where
sure.
like adults will like stub their toe or do something, and they'll be like, frick, and I'll be like, frick. If you stub your toe and you go frick, it is the exact same thing as me stubbing my toe and saying fuck.
Sure.
the intent is exactly the same.
Sure.
There's nothing different except you sound ridiculous. Like,
Sure.
it's like they're still stuck in that like Peter Pan mentality in their brain where they just can't fully go into like adult mode where it's like you're allowed to just use words that you.
But no, that's intent too, though, right? Like like if them saying frick, right, is their intent, is their attempt to like censor themselves, to stop.
That's why
that.
I find it weird.
Yeah. Like
even-
they have
even-
the same, like they want to do it, but they don't want to go all the way. You know what I'm saying? So they don't want to open the Pandora's box.
Yeah.
That's them trying that.
My mom taught me a rule about swearing
Yeah.
when I was young, and
Yeah.
I think it's a good one, right? Because
Yeah.
I've heard people talk to me because I swear a lot
Sure.
on this podcast, in my classes. I like vulgar
Life.
language. It's funny. I like the reactions that I get when I say it. It's reactionary. Half the time it's reactionary.
Yeah.
Half the time it's just fun, and I just like saying swear words, right?
Do you swear by yourself?
Yeah, of
To
course.
yourself?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
All the time. To me, to myself, to other people. But my mom said, "Here's the rule." Because right when you're like 17
Yeah.
and you start discovering swearing, and you're like, "Is it cool to do it in front of your parents?" You have that weird
17.
phase, right? And then my mom told me, she's like, "You can say she used the same analogy. She can be like, if you stub your toe and you go fuck, she's like, I'm not gonna be mad at you. But if you go fuck you, then it's a problem."
That's different.
Right? Because if you use it as an expletive, like to describe a situation that you're in,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But if you put it on someone else,
Yeah.
but then it's like, I could be like, dude, don't be a bitch. And you wouldn't say anything. But if I'm talking to my wife and I'm like, you're a bitch.
It's very different.
Yeah. So, I mean, we understand
Very
that there's nuance here. And it shouldn't,
There's nuance in wording, man, and vocabulary.
people still get mad. People still get mad.
Well, that's, people are refusing to accept nuance, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that big of a deal, right? But there's an entire field of academics.
Jake, when can your daughter swear? When would you be cool with it?
The rule in my house is only daddy talks that way.
Oh, but eventually,
But
about your wife?
I'm from the north of England, so I really don't
At
care.
some point.
Yeah.
If she goes into school and tells teachers to fuck off, that's a terrible idea.
yeah.
Right.
If she,
But if she let one slip in front of you, you'd probably laugh, right? Like
couldn't
if
care
it
less.
if it just slipped out.
I'm
yeah.
amazed it hasn't happened already.
Yeah, just by picking up the signals.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if you can get a vocabulary, while you're swearing, right? Or while you integrate it into your casual conversation, right? Whatever.
Yeah, it's
right?
like I don't do it in my kids' class,
Yeah.
but if I'm sitting with an adult, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, if you can't turn it off,
yeah, then it's
you have a fucking problem,
yeah,
man.
exactly. Then you have Tourette's. Like you need to sort your shit out.
If you can't have a conversation with like people, I don't know, that are like prim and proper, right? Then you have a disability,
Yeah, yeah.
you literally have a
Exactly.
disability.
You have a disability.
right? You literally are disabled, right? You lack a skill.
Yeah.
You lack a skill.
You lack a
necessary.
self-awareness.
Yeah.
I think more than anything is like a little bit of a self-awareness.
Self-awareness. If that makes you uncomfortable, like sitting with people that you can't swear in front of,
Yeah.
right? Then, But I don't, so I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good, and I can say the word.
We like it.
retarded.
It's good fun. It's my favorite thing to do. Fuck is my favorite word. I mean,
Fuck
I
is your
can't
favorite
tell. Yeah, of course. What's a better word? You can use it in so many ways.
It is one of the best.
What's better? What's a better word? Someone tell me.
My wife as well, we used it so much before our daughter was born that we
Yeah.
deliberately had to
You have to tone it down.
Yeah, tone it down.
Because you have to train yourself not to accidentally let it slip,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it makes sense.
Yep.
Same thing. Like I've accidentally let him slip out in a kid's class a couple. Not fuck, but like accidentally let the damn or what, like a light. I'm not gonna be like fuck like in front of the kids' classes. But I've let the odd
Damn.
like middle class, swear word come out or something. Let it slip and then have to get it
Damn's
under
a swear
control.
word though in the kids' class.
Maybe shit. I don't know. But like,
okay.
I can't even remember a specific time. I know
Shit,
it's happened,
fuck.
but
Shit.
all right, man.
Okay.
let's wrap this thing up.
Yes.
Jake's got to take his daughter to
Totally. I got
the
piano to
safari.
pick up. I gotta go fetch a piano. After
Are you
this.
playing?
I'm gonna learn how to play. I'm gonna try.
Let's play together. I went over to Major's last night to teach him how to play guitar
Seriously, you know how to play instruments?
and piano.
Oh shit! No
Yeah,
way.
we can play.
No way.
Yeah,
I can sing.
he's
You can sing?
a guitar player,
6 seconds.
and he's a guitar player like professionally.
I used to play a little bit, but that is literally like when I was 12.
Dude, jam band,
11.
BJJ jam band.
You know?
What-
I mean,
who
if
we've
I
got
learn
up?
how to play
the
it.
Kimuras.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no.
I'm
You're not
gonna-
allowed back here.
I'm gonna start with Nightmare Mode. I'm gonna try learn the Allman Brothers Jessica.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'm gonna
nice.
try that. I'm
That's
gonna
a
try
classic.
that.
Yeah,
It's a classic. It's fucking
There's
hard.
so
I'm gonna
much
try
good
that.
shit, dude. There's so much good shit.
There's-
All right, man. Let's wrap this up. Maher, I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure.
Anytime.
Boom,
Fist
get
bump.
in that Corona fist bump.
Oh,
That's it.
okay.
And now I'm gonna drink after your coffee off camera. No. Okay, everybody. Thank you.
We
This
got
is
a lot of
Stronghold
life.
Podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Maher. Appreciate it.
Totally, anytime.